Colin, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 toothbrush sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop akr.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
We're at a commercial break.
Welcome back to Whiteland Raceway Park for round 3 of the Indy Karting Challenge. Here's a bit of a recap for what we saw earlier this morning. There was a 202, one of our 206 Sportsman drivers there, losing a right rear tire across the stripe in qualifying. There's Hodges She got pole position in the 206 cadet class. And then here's a look at some of your KA seniors, where we saw AJ Lund put 7/10 between himself and Jackson Dial to claim pole position. But qualifying is one thing, heat racing is another, and we're about to see some incredible action here, Caleb. I mean, we saw some really close, grids throughout. I mean, we saw the KA senior class was 7/10, but I think Jackson Dial is going to have an answer for that one, and others in that class as well. But we're getting ready and set to go for our first rounds of heat racing here, starting with the 206 Sportsman drivers.
Yeah, so 206 Sportsman, the first drivers are going to hit the racetrack here today, and what's a pretty packed class here, but going to be an exciting racing the whole way through, as you see all the drivers already on the grid and getting set to go green here in this one. To those of you in and around the paddock, good morning to you guys. Good to see so many faces out here at the racetrack and having a good time. Bundled up because it is 44 degrees in Indiana. Definitely not close to anything like we have back in Texas. But I mean, Alex, the weather's great. The sun is out, the sun is shining. Some wind here in this one makes it feel a little bit colder, but we're at the racetrack, and you really can't beat that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, sun's out, wind's up a little bit, but we're hoping to get in the 50-degree mark here, which would be a beautiful day of racing and not a cloud in the sky. So you couldn't ask for any better here as we get set for some heat racing action. But how about it for our Sportsman drivers who hit the racetrack? It's going to be Blake Martinez ahead of Danny O'Gara. That's your front row. That is Dylan Thomas and Titus Roberts. That's your second row. That is me, Austin Taylor, and the likes of Elam Stoner there in 5th and 6th. Then it's Kason Hendrickson, the driver who actually lost his right rear tire, crossing the line to end out the qualifying session. Then it's Will Feichtinger. Then it's going to be Dominic Gaddis. And then rounding out your top 10 is Hudson Howard. So that's your 1 through 10 order in 206 Sportsman. There's 21 here in total as we round the final corner here. And they're going to grid them up to get set for they get one warm-up lap and then another half warm-up lap to grid up here for our Sportsman drivers. But if qualifying is anything to go off of, where we saw Blake Martinez steal one from O'Gara, I think we're in for a good race.
A good race indeed, as the yellow flags are still out. Try to get these drivers to slow down a bit and get them lined up so they can go racing here. So this is a very quick left-handed section that's going to take you into a hairpin there. And it's all going to lead up to the bowl corner later in the track, but it's going to be super important for these drivers to try and keep the revs up of that 206 engine and really try and work their way through that bowl corner, because you need as much momentum, but you need as much speed. So we're going to need minimal mistakes from these drivers if they really want to go up there and challenge for the top step of the podium, and maybe even take some hardware home here today at the opening rounds of the Indy Karting Challenge here, Alex.
Yeah, hardware is always the goal, but you can't get hardware without finishing the race, and that's what these drivers are hoping to do in the heat race that leads into the final later this morning. This is going to grid them up, obviously. So 5 minutes plus 2 laps, so a slightly longer session than what they had in qualifying, but not too much longer here. It's only about a 45-second lap time for these Sportsman drivers here. So you see Martinez and O'Gara there on the front row. Elam Stoner, Austin Taylor, that's your second row. They're creeping around the final corner and a half here before they get the green flag. So you see O'Gara there telling some of these drivers to slow down. He doesn't like the pace that's being set here, but nonetheless, he's going to have to like the pace because that's just what it is there. Blake Martinez is the one setting it. So, Martinez versus O'Gara. You see him already hopping in the seat there a little bit for Martinez. Green flag is going to be out. So, a good start for your inside row, but they're going to spread out to 3 wide further back. But how about it for Martinez? A great start there, 3 wide for second. That's going to be Roberts and Taylor there getting around O'Gara. O'Gara falls back to third. He's going to throw it up the inside there of Roberts and reclaim that third spot. But as they fanned out further back, Martinez with a dream start. He has about a 4 car length advantage over the likes of Austin Taylor. And then it's going to be Roberts ahead, who just got passed by O'Gara. So it's MPG 1-2 out front.
Yeah, good start so far by the two MPG Motorsports Kart Republics to get themselves to the front end of the field here. So, like you said, Alex, it's going to be Taylor from Gaddis, I believe, and O'Gara able to work his way up to the third spot here in this one. And then Feichtinger currently in the fourth spot, and then Roberts running up your top 5 here. So O'Gara currently finding himself in that third spot. Didn't get the best start here in this race, but you know he's up in a P3 and you know closing down the gap to the top 2, the 224 and the 714 of Taylor and Gaddis respectively. So let's see what Daniel O'Gara can do there in the top cart to try and close down the gap to the 2 MPG Motorsports Kart Republics further up the field. Second lap down with a little over 3 minutes to go, and Daniel O'Gara already setting in a really good lap time that time by a 44.094. And that's going to help him out 5/10 quicker than the 2 drivers in front, and you can already see him beginning to come in a frame and going to challenge the likes of Gaddis and Taylor here shortly, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, when they got the green flag and they fanned out further back, I kind of lost track there of Martinez, who fell from 1st to 7th. So Austin Taylor with a good start. It's Dominic Gaddis, who was the one that got around O'Gara early on, but O'Gara looks to be very, very quick as it stands. Like you said, he went purple last time by. You see him on the bumper now of Dominic Gaddis there. They're going to cross the stripe. I expect another lap here from O'Gara to be purple, and he's through. So O'Gara up to P2 with a purple lap of 43.770. The only other driver in the 43s right now is actually Will Feichtinger. So Feichtinger there in 4th. He needs to find about 2 seconds to get up to your lead group there. But look at O'Gara rounding turn number 3 and onto the back straightaway. Look at the gap he's able to pull from Gaddis, and with the draft assistance there, gets a good run on Austin Taylor. Not going to make a move though. Taylor goes slightly defensive through the bull corner and the hairpin. Now rounding the final couple of corners, O'Gara up all on the bumper of the 224 machine, down the front straightaway. Look at the run. Is he inside? He is, and through. Daniel O'Gara goes back to the point where he feels as though he belongs, and already starting to stretch his legs on the field. But again, almost 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this one. Who knows what Taylor, Gaddis, and the rest of the field have set their pressures to, compared to what we're seeing from O'Gara here, who is just shot out of a cannon to open this race up.
Yeah, like you said, right, Daniel O'Gara, was didn't get the best start, fell back in the field, and then has worked his way up. You see more battling further back in the field, but I mean, what a drive so far by Daniel O'Gara, right? Found himself third, started on the outside, didn't get the pole position or the inside row like he would have wanted, but this driver that's been so good. I mean, we've seen him at some of the national races, across the year. We saw him get a podium at the Winter Series. So I mean, it's really good to see Danny O'Gara, doing a great job out here and at his home track, you could say, for Danny O'Gara. So good to see him, doing a good job so far. As the time continuing to dwindle down, we have 45 seconds left in this one, Alex.
45 seconds plus 2 laps for Danny O'Gara, who has a 6/10 advantage over Austin Taylor. But I will say this time, Taylor there with a personal best lap. The advantage for O'Gara hasn't grown too much since he made that pass on Taylor. It's grown, but not to the advantage that we saw in the first couple of laps, where O'Gara seemed to have a second on the field. Now he only has a couple of tenths in the field. Let's take a look at where Martinez is. Martinez is still 7th, but 6.7 seconds back. So I wonder if Martinez has a bit of an issue, because for our pole sitter to have a bad start and to fall back in this one is not what we would have expected, which might, kind of explain what we saw in the opening lap there. But for O'Gara, he has 7.5 tenths on the field as it stands, and it looks as though his gap is growing. He goes purple, 43 flat. Austin Taylor, 1.6 seconds back. So O'Gara was 9 tenths faster than your second place driver last time by. That is Dominic Gaddis in no man's land there in third. Titus Roberts gets around Will Feichtinger there for fourth. And then it's Hudson Howard ahead of Martinez in seventh. William Vetter, Lincoln Wiley, and Dalton Sears. That's your top 10 as it stands. The time ran out, so 2 laps remaining for Danny O'Gara on board the top cart.
Yeah, so 2 laps to go as Danny O'Gara will get the white flag when he crosses the stripe this time by for Taylor. Still lacking a little bit of pace here. I mean, when it comes down to race pace, right? And just as I say that, actually goes quicker than Danny O'Gara in the lead, but a little too late in this heat race, pre-final race, to catch up to the top cart, who hasn't looked back since he took the lead there in lap 3. So Danny O'Gara, as long as he keeps it on the racetrack, should be good, as more and more battling further back. Some sideways action there. Just been good racing all around, and the rest of these drivers continue to get the white flags. It's been all about Danny O'Gara, and I think this may be the last lap, if I'm not mistaken. No, it is the checkered. So Danny O'Gara going to take the win in the first racing action that we get today. It's going to be Taylor in second, Gaddis across the line in third, and then some switching there in the end. It was Roberts who was able to slot himself back up to P4, and then Feichtinger in P5. So a good ending there for some of those drivers, and then for some others losing out just a little bit there. But Danny O'Gara, your big winner here in pre-finals.
Yeah, O'Gara ahead of Austin Taylor. O'Gara went purple on the last lap, so left a bit in the tank there, I'd say, for Danny O'Gara, who wins the heat race ahead of Taylor, ahead of Gaddis, ahead of Roberts, who gets around Feichtinger. And then it's Howard, Martinez, your pole sitter, down in 7th. William Vetter, Golnick, and Sears. That's your top 10 for 206 Sportsman. Let's see a little bit of a replay there. We see Blake Martinez there in the middle, just not getting up to speed as fast as he would have liked. So maybe a bit of an issue there for the Burrell driver. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Blake Martinez from 1st to 7th in 1 lap. Here's the move for O'Gara to the inside of Austin Taylor, and he never looked back from here. Danny O'Gara, the top cart, gets around the MPG driver and pulled away by 2.1 seconds to win the heat race for Danny O'Gara. Austin Taylor with a good second place finish ahead of his teammates, Dominic Gaddis there in 3rd position. So there it is. O'Gara crosses the stripe. 1 of 2 races for him down. He's going to hope to repeat this in the final later this morning. But Danny O'Gara couldn't have asked for a much better start than what he's seen this morning. So, yeah, that's 1 down here in the books for our heat races. Next up, Caleb, is 206 Cadet, our smallest class of the day, but nonetheless, some of the mightiest, I'd say, because while it may only be 5 drivers, we saw Hodges and Hastings battle out in that qualifying session there. They only had 200ths separating them. So at the end of the day, 5 drivers, it only takes 2 to have a good show, and I think we're in for one here.
Yeah, the tiny but mighty 206 Cadets get set to go onto the racetrack here. And like you said, it was that 33 who was able to put it on the pole position. Hodges, Reagan Hodges was able to put it on the pole position there in her 33 machine. It's Hastings starting alongside her on the front row. Chase Call on the 2nd row alongside Audrey Luttrell, who's starting 4th. And then Patrick McNeely, Shotgun Charlie on the field, starting 5th here. So as these drivers get set to go green here in this one, they look to be going a little bit quick. And I think they may not get they do get the green flag there. I'm sorry. and it was Hastings already off to a good start, but Hodges off to an even better one with a good gap back to second. So for Hodges, already a really big gap, and trying to separate herself from the rest of the field.
Yeah, if qualifying is anything to go off of, we saw Hodges have about an 8/10 advantage on the field for a majority of that session before Hastings put together a good lap there at the checkered flag. So if that's anything to go off of, then Hodges is in a pretty good position as it stands there. She's sliding through the corners here. I mean, we expect this with how cold it is outside and how long it takes these tires to get up the temp sometimes around this place. So for Hodges there, just trying to hang on for the first couple of laps. She's going to cross the stripe there ahead of Hastings. A 1 second advantage as it stands, and then it's going to be Chase Call in third, Patrick McNeely, and then it's going to be Audrey Luttrell. That's your top 5 here in 206 Cadet. I will say this much, though. Brett Hastings looks to be pretty quick as it stands, about a second back, but if you look at that margin, it doesn't seem to be any more than a second this time around. I don't think it's growing that much for Reagan Hodges here. Obviously 4 minutes plus 2 laps. I think she's extended her advantage a little bit over Hastings, but if Hastings can just keep within the tow, let his tires come to him, we could be in for a last lap duel later on here. 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps. Hodges goes purple 1.2 seconds faster than Brett Hastings. This is, the same trend that we saw in qualifying, and so for Brett Hastings, if his tires can come back to him, this could be a decent ending here.
Yeah, no, for sure. So for Hastings, like you said, right? If it comes back to him, I mean, he could get up there and challenge the likes of Reagan Hodges, but it's a lot of work, right? And then you have just under 3 minutes to go left in this race. So for Hastings, it's going to be a tall ask, but I mean, if anybody can do it, it's definitely Brett Hastings to close down that gap to Reagan Hodges. As one driver there off the racetrack a little bit, that was Chase Call, I believe, who found himself dipping a tire there into the grass. But for Reagan Hodges, off to some flying laps here in this one, and still holding on to that lead here.
Yeah, but like I mentioned, Brett Hastings 0.3 faster than Hodges last lap around. So again, the trend continues there for Hastings. It takes him about 2 or 3 laps for those tires to come to his liking, but once they do, he feels confident on board that 31 machine. So 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this one. I will say this time around, Reagan Hodges looks to be a lot quicker. That gap seemingly is larger than 1.8 seconds, so I expect a purple lap here from Hodges as she rounds the final corner. Let's see the lap time that she bodes here, crosses the stripe, and no, I think actually Brett Hastings once again quicker than Reagan Hodges. And yes, Hastings a 45.378. So for Brett Hastings, still flying around this racetrack. He was 0.4 faster than Hodges last time around. So if Hastings can do that 2 more times, he'll be on the bumper of Reagan Hodges as we come to 2 to go once they get to that point. So 1.5 minutes plus 2 laps. It's at least 4 laps left in this one there. Hodges still sliding through the hairpin there. Not as much grip as she would want at this stage in the race. And for Brett Hastings, the grip has come for him. But this time around, that gap looks to be about the same. Yeah, Reagan Hodges goes purple. 44.914 extends her advantage by 0.7 over Brett Hastings. So she now responds to the pace that Hastings was showing there. But this is a good little battle between these top 2. That is Chase Call. We saw him drop a tire 2 laps ago there. He's in 3rd. McNeely 4th. Audrey Luttrell there sits in 5th.
Yeah, so I mean, good lap time so far by Hastings, but just been Reagan Hodges who's done that little bit better to keep herself out in front there, as you see her there catching up to some lap traffic. That's Luttrell, I believe, who's involved in some sort of incident at the early stages of this race. He's going to get lapped here, unfortunately, but for Hodges there, still continuing to extend her gap here, like you said, Alex, right? The gap currently at 2 seconds and growing here to Hastings in that 2nd spot. So Hodges just been able to, keep it clean, keep it consistent, setting those lap times, and continue to push herself further and further up the field. But I mean, has been good racing so far today, with a lot more action to get underway. I mean, Alex, temperatures are a little bit lower than what me and you are used to, so what can we expect from these tires? How are they going to react? And then when you're thinking about tire pressures, what way do you go when you're running this 206 class?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because if you go too high to counteract for the cold temps, then, you're going to struggle later on in the race. So I think you have to just maintain your normal approach, whether it's hot or cold outside, and you go lower for a race situation. Because usually these tires, at the end of the day, after 2 laps, no matter how cold it is outside, if you're aggressive enough on the tire on the outlap, the grip will come to you. That's what we're seeing here for Hodges, and that's what we saw throughout the qualifying session for most of the drivers. If you go too high, like we saw with Gensheimer in senior medium, the lap times start to tumble the opposite direction on your last couple of laps. So you have to find a balance between not overheating your tires with trying to counteract for the cold temps. But if you go too far in the wrong direction, you're too low, you're going to really struggle for grip. And by the time the grip comes to you, you're too far back to make anything happen in the heat races. So for me, I'd go middle of the road for what you'd expect on a hot racetrack compared to a cold racetrack. And from there, be aggressive on the tire warming in the first lap and really, put the pressure on, because you can't really overheat them at that stage in the race. So nonetheless, last lap here for Reagan Hodges, 3.6 seconds ahead of Brett Hastings. This is only the heat race, but it's a good start to the morning for Reagan Hodges. She crosses the stripe to win the heat race in 206 Cadet. Brett Hastings further back. He's going to cross the line to finish second. Chase Call with a pretty decent drive there to maintain his gap between himself and Brett Hastings. So we might see maybe a 3-kart race here in the feature race later this morning. Then it's Patrick McNeely. He crossed the line to finish fourth. And then Audrey Luttrell. That's your top 5 in 206 Cadet. But how about it for Reagan Hodges? She responds to what Brett Hastings was able to do in qualifying and stretch her legs a little bit on the field and say, listen, I'm still here. Maybe you were within 200 of me in qualifying, but the heat race is a different story. And for Reagan Hodges, that was impressive.
Yeah, really, really impressive drive there for Reagan Hodges, who was able to solidify that pre-final victory, or heat victory, there to start off the morning. It's going to be your 206 mediums, if I'm not mistaken here, Alex, heading the racetrack next, with a lot of racing action coming your way.
Yeah, we just saw our 206 Cadet class. Next up is going to be your senior medium warm-up. Here's a bit of a replay. There's the starts. We had a few stragglers further back, but nonetheless, a clean start for all 5 drivers. And Reagan Hodges there just never looked back. There's a call there, dropping the tire, kind of hitting the curving there. That really slowed his momentum down. So, and any chance he had of a second place was lost after that. There's a look at Hastings there, getting around some lap traffic of Audrey Luttrell there as well. So, for Reagan Hodges, a dominant victory ahead of Brett Hastings and then ahead of Chase Call. That was your top 3 in 206 Cadet. But for senior medium coming up next, we saw Ryan Gensheimer put it on the pole position ahead of Elijah Fox. 2 tenths separated your top 2, but like I mentioned earlier, for Ryan Gensheimer, he put his best lap on lap 3. The rest of the field, if you look down the order, lap 7, lap 6, lap 6, lap 7, 7, 7, and you get the points. So I'm sure Ryan Gensheimer came in the pits and said, listen, kart felt good, tires felt good, but tires felt good a little too early here, and for a heat race that's 2 laps longer than qualifying, we should go down on pressures a little bit, right? Which is kind of what we were talking about in that heat race just a moment ago there, where you have to find that balance between you have too much grip too early to where you don't have anything left for you at the end of the race.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and you bring up a great point, right? So for these drivers, it's just with how low the temperature is. I mean, trying to find that right setup, the perfect setup to really, get it nailed down and get it dialed in is going to be super difficult. But I mean, I trust that these drivers can do it, and we're expecting a good race from these 206 mediums. They always deliver. So I'm excited to see I'm excited to see that whenever it gets underway.
Yeah, for sure. One of the largest classes we have here at the Indy Kart Challenge here. This is round 3 at Whiteland Raceway Park. But like I was saying, 19 go-karts here in senior medium. Jen Scheimer on pole, Elijah Fox second. Then your second row is Jared Howerton, followed by Evan McCorkadale. Then it's Levi Wilbur ahead of Rodolfo Galacia. That's your top 6. And then it's Braden Johnson ahead of Gavin Baird, ahead of Gage Justiniano, ahead of Braden Mayfield. That's your top 10 in the senior medium class. If you look down the order, it's 1.2 seconds between 1st and 10th, but only 4/10 separates your top 5 in senior medium. So as they hit the racetrack now, 19 of your best senior medium drivers are getting ready to take the green flag in about a lap and some change here for the warm-up here at Whiteland Raceway Park. There's the MGM driver of Ryan Jessheimer ahead of Elijah Fox. These are 2 veterans now, I'd say, at this point in the senior medium class. 2 drivers that we expect to see at the front of any field in 206 racing. So as they get ready to round the bowl corner and really get the grid sorted, this should be a good one, Caleb.
Yeah, definitely. We're expecting a barn burner of a race here in this one. It was, barn burner of a qualifying session, and I expect the exact same thing here in this one. It's going to be Gensheimer and Fox, who start on the front row side by side, and all other 16 drivers will have to line up behind them. It's going to be Gensheimer who will get us underway here in this heat race. We haven't seen the outside line get the best of starts yet. They look to change that luck and that destiny here at the start of this heat race. It's Fox and Gensheimer getting set to go green. The green flag is out, and we are racing here in 206 medium. A good start there by Gensheimer. Fox trying to hold on to it around the outside there. Can he get the inside going into the section? Not close enough, but does have the inside as him and McCarkendale go side by side. But a good start so far by Gensheimer here, Alex.
Yeah, Gensheimer there, a good start early. We have one kart further back who is spun round in turn number 2, so that's going to be his heat race chances essentially over there. But how about it for Gensheimer? A good start ahead of Fox, ahead of the 78 there of Jared Howerton. The top 3 have pulled away from the rest of the field. Howerton doing exactly what he needs to do to push Elijah Fox back to Ryan Gensheimer there. And again, the trend seems to continue here for Gensheimer. Purple in the first lap. He was quick early on in the qualifying session, and then we saw his tires begin to fade. So if I'm Elijah Fox, if I'm Howerton, if I'm the rest of the field, I'm thinking, okay, this is fine. Let Gensheimer get ahead, and then maybe his tires will fall off later on in the race. Further back, it's Levi Wilbur who's gotten ahead of McCorkadale there in 5th place. And then it's Braden Johnson ahead of Matt Gase now in 7th.
Yeah, so good racing all around for these drivers. We have side by side for that 3rd spot. That's Fox and Jared Howerton there for the 3rd spot, and Fox was able to stay ahead there at the moment. But Howerton, he looked pretty close. Looked like he wanted to get the move done, just wasn't close enough, and that's going to lose him a little bit of time to Gensheimer, who isn't going to look back and continue to push himself further and further away from the rest of from the other 17 drivers here on the racetrack. Let's see what it looks like this time by, though, for Howerton. He was quickest last time by, giving us a little bit of a hint of why he wanted to go and maybe try and challenge for something further up the field. But behind this kart, you have the 2 others of Fox and Howerton, who continue to fight, and more drivers further back. I mean, I think Howerton was able to get ahead there of Fox, so Howerton up to P2. I believe we just missed it on our screens, but Howerton able to go up to 2nd and then try and drag Fox up to the rear bumper of Gensheimer so they can try and challenge for some sort of hardware today, Alex.
Yeah, Howerton feeling pretty racy in the midway stages of this one. We saw the last lap, he and Fox get into it there in the final corner. Howerton wasn't very happy with Fox there. It feels as though he probably chopped the nose a little bit. I don't think it was anything more than a bit of a racing incident. Nonetheless, Howerton gets around Fox and now is pulling a Fox with him. And look at that, Howerton purple, a 42.162, 0.3 faster than what we saw from Ryan Gensheimer a lap ago. How about it from Levi Wilbur and McCorkadale? They're 0.2 quicker than Gensheimer as well. They're 3 seconds back from the lead, but as it stands, if you look down the order, the slowest driver in the top 7 is actually your leader, Ryan Gensheimer. Now, that's expected because he has nobody pushing him, no one in front of him to draft off of. So, without the help of the toe or a push, naturally, you're going to be a little bit slower. But for Gensheimer, not an ideal situation with a minute and a half plus 2 laps to go, knowing that lap time-wise, you're actually the slowest of the top 7. Elijah Fox goes purple, 0.5 faster than what we've seen from Gensheimer last time by. The gap is now 0.7, and it looks to be less than that as they round turn 2 and turn 3. Jared Howerton is coming, and he's bringing Elijah Fox with him. We're about to have a 3-car battle for the lead.
3-car battle for the lead here shortly. I mean, we've seen this time and time again in the 206 classes. Whenever you have 2 go-karts pushing each other, they're going to be quicker than that one lone go-kart. So, good to see Howerton and Fox already working together, setting their differences aside and then closing down that gap to Gensheimer, who's out in the lead here. But, like you said, Alex, that gap is closing here rapidly. So these 2 guys, pushing with everything that they got so they can, find themselves in a better starting spot when we get to final racing.
24 seconds plus 2 laps to go. Next time around, they're going to see the 2 sticks in the air. And for Howerton, that gap was 0.6 last time around. It's even less this time around. I'd say it's maybe 3 car lengths as they round the final couple corners here. Gensheimer doing everything he can, going a little defensive there in the penultimate corner. That's going to give Howerton a really good run down this front straightaway. 2 sticks in the air for these drivers. The gap's now 0.4. Elijah Fox doing a great job to push Howerton. This is very unselfish, selfless driving, I should say, from these 2 drivers working together, knowing that 2 is faster than 1. I thought for a moment there Howerton was going to make a move on Gensheimer, thought better of it. Down the back straightaway, Fox and Howerton, do they have anything for what Gensheimer's been able to do here, Caleb?
We will find out here shortly as they continue to get into that drafting range. It was 2.6 in the air last time by, but Howerton closer than he's been ever before, and now on the inside into the hairpin, he's able to get clear side by side in between Fox there, and Gensheimer wasn't close enough that time by. But what a move there by Howerton to put himself to the point of the field here, and as they get to the last lap, it's going to be an all-out brawl for the last of the podium places. And you see Howerton there already going defensive, trying to keep Gensheimer and Fox behind, side by side in between the 2 of them, as it looks like it's going to be Gensheimer who's able to stay ahead. He's going to be up to the bottom of the bowl. Wow, what a move there by Gensheimer, who's able to get back ahead and back to the point of the field. So this is the last lap as they continue to battle here. It's Gensheimer and Howerton. They're still fighting it out for the race win. Who is it going to be when they cross the stripe? It's going to be Gensheimer who takes the win after that great move in the bowl. Howerton second, Elijah Fox third.
Yeah, a good battle between your top 3 there. I mean, Gensheimer, good on him to stay composed even when Howerton caught up to him, made the move. A good over-under there from Gensheimer on the final lap to reclaim the lead, and he didn't look back from there. So Gensheimer had a Howerton, I had a Fox, I had a McCorkadale who got around Wilbur, and then it's Braden Johnson in 5th, then it's Levi Wilbur, then it's Gavin Baird, Gage Justiniano, Brady Sappenfield, and Braden Mayfield. That's your top 10 of senior medium. A really close field throughout. Your top 3 separated by less than a blanket, and then 4th through about 7th there had a good battle, and actually we're doing better lap times than what we saw from your leaders. Just unfortunately, the start is what separated the group. But for Ryan Gensheimer, he wins the heat race, which is a good sign for him when it comes to the feature race later this morning, which is why we saw him, fight so hard for that front spot there. As it stands, you mentioned it, Caleb, right? The inside line, like we see here on the replay, is the line that you want to be on around this place, because the inside line leads to a left-hander for turn number 2. So far we haven't seen the outside lane make it work yet, but I'm sure we will at some point today. There we saw one of the guys further back with a spin in the opening lap there. Here's the look at 4th through about 10th there, going side by side through the chicane area. This is after Howerton got around Fox and was pulling him up to the lead group there. There's Howerton and Fox there, still battling it out with Jensheimer. Now here's the move to the inside where I thought maybe Howerton was going to pull away here as they came up to the white flag, but with a good crossover move, heading on to the back straightaway, side by side. It doesn't get more textbook than this. Through the chicane, claim the position. Jensheimer elbows out racing, even in a heat race. It doesn't matter for the MGM driver. That was all it took. And with a bit of defensive driving here in the final corner, was able to cross the stripe and win with some side-by-side action throughout. Jensheimer took it ahead of Howerton, ahead of Fox there. That was a great battle. Doesn't get much better than that in your senior medium class, and I expect more of that throughout the rest of the day here. But that was your senior medium class. Coming up next, we're going to see some 206 junior heat racing.
So you will finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're going to need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes,
Yep.
gloves,
Yep.
rib protectors.
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
Welcome back here to Whiteland Raceway Park for round 3 of the Indy Kart Challenge. We just saw our opening couple of heat races in the books. A great race there in senior medium. Coming up next is your 206 junior class. They hit the racetrack. Only 4 drivers in this one, but doesn't take many drivers to make a good race. So on pole position, Gabriel Payne. Then it's Lucien Laser, who we saw in the closing stages of that qualifying session put 2 tenths between himself and the pole sitter, Evan Patton, in 3rd. And then rounding out your grid in 206 Junior is Colin Harden there. So 8 tenths separates your top 3 in this one. Only 4 drivers, but if anything, if the 206 medium class is anything to go off of there, we're in for a decent race here in the 206 class, like we've seen throughout this morning. The draft does play a factor. 2 karts are faster than 1, so for the likes of Laser, Patton, and Harden, they're going to hope to work together to close the gap to Gabriel Payne. Rounding the final corner now and getting ready to see the green flag for 5 minutes and 2 laps of racing action. Green flag, there is not going to be in the air here for now. We're waiting. Green flag is in the air. Inside lane once again gets the jump. Good job for Laser there to slot in line into 2nd place. So for him, he needs to stay on the bumper of Payne. You see Payne sliding wide there. Tires not up to temperature for his liking. So this is Lucien Laser's chance here. Down the back straightaway through the chicane and then onto the bull corner. Laser all up on the bumper of your leader there, the 45 machine of Gabriel Payne, through the bull corner. He's close enough to make a move if he wants to. Not going to happen, but Gabriel Payne sliding through the corner there. So it looks as though Lucien Laser probably opted for some higher tire pressures to get some grip here to kind of match what Gabriel Payne's been able to do pace-wise. So front straightaway, lap 1 in the books, 4 minutes and 2 laps remaining in this one. Still a lot of racing action to go. But for Gabriel Payne there, you can see the grip starting to come back to him there. A decent turn one, extending his advantage.
Yeah, not too bad there by Payne. I mean, like you said, Alex, right? I mean, he started off, just a little loose there, and then it just took him a while for him to get the, I guess, the tires warmed up, and it seems like he's got it done now because he already has a good gap further back to Laser. Currently sits in that second spot, and I mean, you see it there, right? Payne already, I guess you can say bringing the pain here in this one, Alex.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Gabriel Payne absolutely flying as it stands. 5/10 between himself and Lucien Laser lap time-wise. About 8/10 is what separates your leader from second place. But for Lucien Laser there, he's going to hope to find a little bit more pace in this one like he did in qualifying. 3 minutes and 2 laps to go. That's going to be at least 6 laps remaining here in this 206 junior class. Further back, Evan Patton is 2.4 seconds behind. And then Colin Harden, 6.2 back in your 206 junior class there. You look at Gabriel Payne, his hands much quieter than what they were in the opening couple of laps. The grip has come back to the 45 machine now. For Lucien Laser, that gap is starting to grow ever so slightly from himself and the lead. Yeah, 4/10 last time by is how much Gabriel Payne was quicker than Laser. So 1.2 seconds now is the advantage for your leader. Lucien Laser there. Up on the wheel, going a little bit wide on a turn 2 there. Compromised his turn 3 entry there, and now he's wide for 4. So not the start of this lap that Laser would have wanted. Gabriel Payne up on the wheel, absolutely flying. He's treating this as a qualifying session, I'd say, with how much open air he has in front of him. But for Lucien Laser, if I'm Lucien at this point, right, I'm not going to push too hard, try to save any bit of tire that I have for the feature race. But still, I want to learn what Gabriel Payne's doing to be so fast around this Whiteland Raceway Park circuit. This time around, the gap, I was going to say, the gap is not that large there for Gabriel Payne. Lucien Laser last time around was actually quicker than what we saw from your leader last time by. So, Lucien Laser, a personal best of 44.542. The gap is only a second now with a minute and a half and some change left.
Yeah, a minute and a half with some change left here in this heat race for your 206 juniors. And for Lucien Laser, I mean, at the moment, it's all about consistency, right? Gabriel Payne seems to be consistent, seems to, hit his markers every single lap time. And then for the likes of Laser, he has been really close. He has been pretty consistent, but just, very, very few mistakes have really put him on the back foot. But like you said, Alex, I mean, he's getting really close in lap times. He was quickest last time by. Unfortunately, Payne was able to retake that this lap and extend his gap there a little bit. So let's see what it looks like for these two drivers who continue to battle it out here, Alex.
Yeah, last time around, Gabriel Payne went purple to extend his advantage to 1.3 seconds ahead of himself. And Lucien Laser, 43 seconds to go plus 2 laps. So when they cross the line, 3 to go here in the 206 junior heat race. Gabriel Payne ahead of Lucien Laser, but look at the gap. It's a little bit less than 1.3. Yeah, it's 1 second now. Lucien Laser, again, quicker than Gabriel Payne. They're alternating personal best laps here. So for Lucien Laser, if he can do that 2 more times around, he might have a chance here in this heat race. So the pace is there, and this bodes well for some exciting feature racing action later in the morning. So, Gabriel Payne still leads, Lucien Laser second, Evan Patton 6 seconds back in third, Colin Harden, that's your top 4 in the 206 junior class. Round of the bowl corner here, couple of corners to go for Gabriel Payne before he sees the 2 sticks in the air from our flagman. Round of the penultimate corner now. Gabriel Payne, look at the gap between himself and Lucien Laser. I think it's less than a second here. Let's see when they cross the line what it is. It was 1 second, now it's 8/10. Lucien Laser is here, and he's joined the party with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, he was closing down that gap, still is closing down that gap here pretty rapidly. I think it may be just a little too late here with 2 laps to go, but I'm not going to count him out. I've been proved wrong multiple times in the past, so I'd really love for Lucien Laser to prove me wrong here once again today. But it is a big gap and a lot of work with only 2 laps to go left in this one. Gabriel Payne, I mean, like we said, Alex, has been super consistent. didn't have that initial grip that you would have wanted, but as the race progressed, I mean, he got quicker and quicker. The tires got, into that window. He did as well. So a good drive so far by Payne to go into the last lap.
Yeah, Gabriel Payne still leads. Laser in second. The gap went from 8 tenths to about 8.5 tenths, so a little bit quicker for Payne last time by. Laser's going to need some heroics here in the final couple of corners to close that gap to what he would need to claim a victory in the heat race. But hardware is only given out in the feature race. This only lines you up for where you start in that final later in the morning. But for Gabriel Payne, he is in the catbird seat because he starts on the inside front row. He's going to win the heat race ahead of Lucy and Laser in second place. Then further back, we just got a glimpse of him there. Evan Patton is about to cross the line to finish in third. And then Colin Harden is going to cross the line to finish in fourth in 2:06 Junior. What a race for Gabriel Payne. Lucy and Laser gave him a good run there towards the end of this one. So I think for the future race, we're in for a good one in that one if Lucy and Laser can get a better start than he had in this one. But for Evan Patton, for Colin Harden, that's your top four. That's your 2:06 Junior heat race.
Yeah, I mean, a really good race from start to finish, and they really showed us their class and how they can drive. So that was 4 classes down. We had our Sportsman to start off the day. The Cadets were second, and we went with 2:06 medium. That was 2:06 Junior. We have one more 2:06 class, and then our KA 100 seniors and masters that will take the track to round up your AM groups for the pre-finals. But we do have some main event racing coming your way for the second half of the day. You're watching Kart Chasers live coverage of the Indy Karting Challenge. Don't go anywhere.
We're at a commercial break.
Well, welcome back to the beautiful Whiteland Raceway Park, I guess you can say. And my name is Caleb Vieska. I almost forgot my name there for a second. And joining me here in the booth is the other half of the Short King duo, Alexander Searle, joining me here in the booth. Alex, been a great morning of racing so far. I mean, we've seen a lot of racing action. A wild finish for the 206 medium pre-final. I mean, walk me through the day, right? I mean, how's it been? And we're here, on a Saturday rather than being all weekend with our KC Grassroots program.
Yeah, I think it's been a great start to a beautiful Saturday here in Whiteland, Indiana. We've seen some great action. Like you said, the senior medium class, probably the standout race of the day so far. A three-way battle for the win in that heat race, and with drivers further back that were also quick. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 6 or 7 karts in the mix for a battle at a win in the feature race later in the morning. We just got done with our 206 junior class. Another good race there between Gabriel Payne and Lucian Laser there, a 1v1 battle all the way to the finish. Now we have our 206 Masters drivers getting ready to hit the racetrack with the likes of Matt Gase ahead of David Galaunia there on the Burrell, JB Williams ahead of Troy Toney, and then it's Michael Schaefer. That's your top 5. And how about it? I mean, it's a pretty close field here in 206 Masters. We saw Matt Gase steal one at the end there by 1/10 over David Galaunia. We have a driver further back that is spun around there, but only 1.5 tenths separates your top 2 here. So I expect another good race, another good showing here. Just we saw the 206 medium class there. But for Matt Gase, the 531 machine, he's going to lead them to the green. And so far, the inside lane is 4 for 4 like Wendy's out here.
Exactly. The inside line, I mean, it's, definitely showed, why you want to start on the pole here at Whiteland, because the first turn is a sharp left-hander where, if you're stuck on the outside, very similar to Homestead, it's going to be hard to really, hold on to it around there. But, into the tram lines they go, and they get set to go green. And I think there you go. The green flag is out, and we are racing here. A good start so far there by your pole sitter, able to get the top spot here once again. And not going defensive as of yet. Oh, but big contact further back in the field. 3 drivers get together. Big contact here in this Masters class so far. And we hope that all those drivers are okay. But already a little bit of carnage here in this one, Alex.
Yeah, Matt Gase, a good start there. Like you said, carnage further back. But for your top 3, it's a dream start for these guys. I will say, it was some games being played on Matt Gase because Galaunia was ahead of Gase at the start, forced Galaunia to brake, and then the second he braked, Gase accelerated. So some games played out front, but nonetheless, the Burrell driver in second place there looks to be pretty quick. All over the bumper now, or about to be, on Matt Gase. Then it's going to be JB Williams, a top 3 go-kart breakaway, and then it's going to be Troy Toney there in 4th, about 5 tenths back from your top 3. But down the backstretch, look at the run that Galaunia has on Gase. It looks as though, to me, from what I'm visually seeing, the gear ratios are different for your top 2. I think as it stands, Gase looks to be better in the infield. Galaunia looks to be a lot better when it comes to getting a tow down the back straightaway. Might have a much taller gear on this go-kart. Look at it, down the front straightaway. The run that Galaunia has, is he going to peek to the inside? Not going to happen. He's going to push Matt Gase and see if he can make it a 2-car battle. It's probably the smarter thing to do, especially in 206 racing. If you can, find a buddy and push away and make the race, with as little amount of go-karts as possible, that's always the goal. And so for Galaunia, you're going to see him push Matt Gase, hopefully away from the likes of Troy Toney, who's now pulled away from Michael Schaefer out front. JB Williams, the driver that started inside your top 3, he's down in 7th, 13 seconds behind your leader. So he's had a shocker to start. I believe he was one of the drivers involved in that opening lap carnage there. So there it is. Once again, 3 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Do we see a move to the inside? We do. Galaunia to the inside, side by side through turn 1, going to back out of it. Good defensive driving from Matt Gase. Good clean driving from Matt Gase. But the more you battle like that, the more you're giving Troy Toney a chance to stay in this one.
Yeah, correct, Alex. And I think you may have the gear the other way around. I mean, it looks like Galaunia is just super quick in the infield section. I mean, right after this bowl section, when you see him go into this hairpin right here, he closes down the gap so much on exit there, and he gets all over the rear bumper, and then it seems like on the main straightaway just doesn't have that little bit of extra oomph to really get past the OTK of Matt Gase. So let's see what it looks like this time by, right? He's all over the rear bumper there on exit, and then tries to make the move, but just doesn't have that little extra, I don't think, to get ahead. And then on all those high-speed sections, it seems like Gase just kind of pulls away a little bit here. But that's just my thought. I mean, Galaunia could be driving a lot better through the last couple of corners than what he might be into the first couple. But I really think Galaunia may be on a higher gear here as compared to Matt Gase, Alex.
Yeah, it's always interesting. It's always tough to tell when they have a toe advantage, for Galania on Gase. So I think you might be right there. It looks as though, if anything, there's maybe a one-tooth difference between these two drivers there. But out of the final corner, Galania has a good run here down the front straightaway. Not going to peek a nose there. Matt Gase has just enough to stay ahead as it stands. A little wide there for the Burrell driver in second. A minute and 15 plus 2 laps to go. At least 3 laps to go for these 206 Masters drivers here through turn number 3 on the back straightaway. Galania there with a good exit. Look at the run that he gets to begin the straightaway there. So it looks as though maybe out of the corner he's a bit higher on the gear, and then it kind of plateaus at the exit there for Galania. So Matt Gase doing just enough. He's got that gear to perfection to where he maybe doesn't have it on the exit, but he has it at the end of the straightaway when he needs it. And so Galania not able to pull out and make a pass when he wants to. 35 seconds plus 2 laps. Now it'll be 3 laps to go for these Masters drivers. And there, like we were mentioning, Galania gets a good toe and then just doesn't have anything to make it happen at the end of the straightaway. So Matt Gase, as it stands, looking to be in a great position here. So Galania, to make a move on Gase, is going to have to, maybe catch Gase off guard a little bit, and they can move into one of the corners.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, definitely Galania going to have to, try with whatever he's got left in the tank to try and get ahead. But, I mean, like we were saying, right, it could be a tooth difference. It could be more than that. But, I really think nothing more than a tooth difference in between Galania and Gase. You see him there on the rear bumper once again. And it's just at the end of the straightaway where he misses out a little bit. Just doesn't have that little bit of extra top end to really make the move. And I've been in that position before, right? Whenever you're sitting in second, don't have that little bit of extra, top speed to get the move done. And then whenever you see, your I guess the guy you're competing with pull away from you on the end of the straightaway, you kind of figure out that you may be on the wrong gear. As they went side by side there for a second. What can Galania do this time? By into the hairpin, not close enough. So the second and last hairpin now. So not close enough for Galania. So he's going to have to pull something out of the bag here when they get the white flag this time by.
White flag in the air. Galania got a decent run, but not enough to make a move as it stands to turn 1 here. So about a half a lap to go in this one. The tight section of the racetrack here, the left, right, and then left onto the back straightaway. Do we see a move to the inside? Not going to happen. They're catching lap traffic, but I think they'll just stay out of the way in time for your leaders. Down the back straightaway into the chicane, left, right, and then back onto the left banked bowl corner for Matt Gase. Does Galania have anything left in the tank for this one? Not as it stands. 3 corners to go for the 531 OTK driver. Now the penultimate corner, 1 sweeping left-hander to go. We're seeing the white flag for your lapper, checkered for your winner, Matt Gase, with a personal best on the last lap to win the heat race ahead of David Galania, ahead of Troy Toney, who puts his personal best there on the final lap as well. That was a good battle between your top 2 and really top 3 drivers. Then it's 12 seconds back to see your 4th place driver, Adam Deitz, and then it's Kevin Semenelik in 5th. Josh Lockhart will cross the line in this lap to finish in 6th. Then it's Eric Patton, Michael Schaefer, J.B. Williams. Both those drivers didn't finish this 206 Masters heat race. But for your winner, Matt Gase, he started on pole. He's going to start on pole again for the feature race later this morning. Here's a replay of the start there. A good start for Matt Gase. A good start for your top 3 as a whole. Here's the contact further back. A bunch of drivers collected this one. That's really not what you want to see or be a part of, especially in a heat race where it's going to cost you some positions to start the final. Here's the move to the inside that we saw for the Burrell driver, who just couldn't make it stick. Like we mentioned, lacking maybe a tooth on the bottom end to make it move, make it happen at the end of the straightaway. But a good battle nonetheless, and I'm sure he's going to look back at this one and say, okay, I need to look at my gearing, maybe compare it to what Matt Gase is able to do so I can make a move happen in the feature race there. But this is kind of what we saw all race long. Matt Gase versus Galania there, and Gase came out on top. Further back, there was Troy Toney, who was in with a shout if the top 2 began to battle at all. So I expect, in the feature race, when it's 4 more laps, or at least 4 more laps with 4 more minutes, of action in that one. So about 5 more laps of racing action. it'll play, it'll really play your physical toll. It'll, play a toll on your tires. It'll do a lot. So good stuff here for our Masters guys. Now, the final heat race of the morning. It's the KA Senior and KA Masters drivers. Their engines are fired, and it's when we saw AJ Lund put it on pole by 0.7 of a second. Unheard of in the KA Senior class. He did it ahead of Jackson Dial, who's going to roll off on the outside of row 1. Then it's Charlie Steins in 3rd, Lane Gibbs in 4th. Then rounding out your top 5, it's Braden Rudder.
That's going to be your top 5 for your KA 100 Masters as they get set to go green. And my timing actually hasn't updated yet, Alex, so you're going to have to run us down the rest of the field here.
Yeah, and then 6th is going to be Austin Fairfield. Then it's going to be Nick Lundgren. And then it's going to be Casey Perry in 8th, Joshua Nelson 9th, Blake Finley, that's your top 10. Then it's Michael Gundoff. It's going to be Bane Bennett the 2nd, and Brennan McIntosh. That's going to be your field for the KA Senior and KA Masters drivers. It's a combined grid here for our KA 100 drivers. But for the KA Senior guys, besides that, rocket of a lap that AJ Lund put together in qualifying, it was Jackson Dial. It was kind of his show all qualifying session long when he was leading the field, and then Lund put together an absolute stormer on the final lap to improve his lap by 0.8 and put 0.7 on the field. So let's see if that lap is representative of the pace we can expect from him throughout the heat race, or if the likes of Jackson Dial, Charlie Steins, and others can make anything happen compared to AJ Lund here. We've seen the draft play a factor in the 206 class. It's usually a factor in the KA class, but on a smaller, more technical racetrack for these fast go-karts, it's not as important. We saw AJ Lund put his purple lap by himself, leading the field actually in that qualifying session. So it'd be very intriguing to see what happens here as go-karts hit the racetrack. AJ Lund, Jackson Dial, they're going to put on a show for us.
Yeah, going to be a show indeed. I mean, every time we watch any sort of KA racing, right, it's always a good time. Same thing with 206. We always have a great time, just watching these karts do what they do, and these drivers do what they do, right? I mean, we took a look there into the paddock. It's really a family affair, right? So many families coming out to the racetrack, and it's really good to see, here at the club level and here at Whiteland Raceway Park. But this is literally why we do it, right? Just to watch the racing and to have a good time. So let's hope AJ Lund and Jackson Deal can deliver for us as they get set to start on the front row with the rest of the 10 drivers getting set to go green right behind them. So this is where the start-finish line is, but they won't start the racing until they cross the line here into the tram line. So they go into the tram lines here, and we wait for the green flag. It's out. We are racing here in K100 Senior and K Masters. A couple of drivers going wide already, but a good start so far there by AJ Lund as a Deal looked to go look for a move. Just wasn't close enough that time. Gibbs up in a P3, and Lund losing out a spot there. It was Deal who lost the spot. Currently finds himself in 3rd here.
Yeah, Jackson Deal actually was in 5th at the end of turn 1. He's found himself back into 3rd place after 2 great moves into turn number 3. But for Jackson Deal, a horrific start for him. It seems as though the go-kart just didn't, go when he pressed the right pedal. So for Jackson Dial, he's going to have to, get on with it a little bit here with 4 minutes and 2 laps to go in his heat race. For AJ Lund, though, a great start for him. And then it's going to be Charlie Steins there in 2nd, and then Jackson Dial in 3rd position there.
Yeah, so a good start to the race so far. Lund looks to be pulling away and, doesn't want anybody else to get close, so wants to put himself in a good spot on the racetrack, have a good gap behind and ahead of him. So let's see what the top kart can do here, as he has a fellow top kart right behind him and Charlie Steins, and then Jackson Deal currently 3rd, who just went quickest, 38.451. So a really good lap there by Jackson Deal to try and catch up to the 2 top karts who are ahead of him.
Yeah, top cart 1-2, and there's Jackson Dial in third, closing that gap to the leaders. He went purple last time by compared to what the top two were able to do. The top three are the only drivers in the 38-second bracket as it stands. In fourth, it's Braden Rudder, then Lane Gibbs. That's your top five as it stands. How about it for Charlie Steins, though? He seems to be quicker than AJ Lund this time around, but he proved me wrong. AJ Lund goes purple, a 38.186, 38.2 for Steins. Jackson Dial, a 38.3, so a personal best for every driver on the grid except for Blake Finley there in 8th, who had to make a move there during that lap. But 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go for your top kart drivers, 1 and 2. And then Jackson Dial needs to find a little bit more pace on board his MPG if he wants to have a chance at a race victory ahead of the likes of AJ Lund and Steins. AJ Lund proving that lap that he put in qualifying is, in fact, representative of his pace here in the heat race. Crosses the stripe to extend his advantage again over Charlie Steins. Jackson Dial now closing the gap to Steins, who's falling back to your leader, AJ Lund. So, Lund looks good as it stands. Still 5 laps to go for these KA drivers.
Yeah, 5 laps to go left in this one. But, I mean, like we've said, right, AJ Lund just absolutely flying around Whiteland Motorsports, Raceway Park here. I mean, he just... that top kart really just, doing whatever AJ Lund is telling it to do and doing a great job of it. So, a good driver and chassis combination seems to be here in Indy.
Now, if I'm Jackson Dial, I'm looking at the lap times. He is matching AJ Lund's pace by to the thousandths, really, the last couple of laps. So, if I'm Jackson Dial, and I've kind of seen the trend of this racetrack, and that is the inside line is where you want to be. I almost don't want to pass Charlie Steins. I want to sit there in third, and so for the feature race, I'm the one pushing AJ Lund, and we can have a mano-a-mano fight first and second in the feature race. I mean, I'd be shocked, honestly, if I'm Jackson Dial, unless he feels like he has a chance to go out there and get a race victory in the heat race. If you look at the pace that he's setting compared to Lund, right? I mean, last time I had 37.67 for Lund, a 37.71 for Dial there. Obviously has a bit of a help with the toe off of Charlie Steins, but from what we saw in this one, where Dial started in second place in qualifying, he was in 5th after corner 1, but he didn't listen to me. Jackson Dial up to P2 with 40 seconds and 2 laps to go. They're going to cross the line in time for 3 laps to go. So, in 3 laps, can he make up 1.3 seconds? The MPG driver has a lot of work to do, but he feels confident.
Yeah, a lot of work to do there for the MPG Motorsports driver, who finds himself up in a second to Jackson Deal already. It seems like his kart's coming to life here in the closing stages of this one. Maybe a little too late if he wants to catch up to AJ Lund, who's been, just flying the entire race long in a league of his own, kind of, and pulling away here little by little. But for Jackson Deal, I mean, he was able to get ahead of Charlie Stein, so now let's see if he can really, set in those lap times to try and get to the bumper here of the go-kart there on your screen of AJ Lund. So he's going to have to push through. So there you have it on your top timing screens. 3 laps to go. That was the last time by. So 2 to go this time by for these drivers.
I mean, how about it for Jackson Dial? Like you mentioned, the kart has found some new life in this one. Only 6/10 separates Lund from Dial last time around. It looks as though it's a little bit more than 6/10 this time around for Lund and the MPG driver there. So 1.5 laps to go. As he rounds the penultimate corner, he's going to see the white flag in the air on the 43 of AJ Lund. Has a bit of lap traffic in front of him. Good job to get out of the way there. Now through the final corner, purple for AJ Lund, a 37.3 extends his advantage over Jackson Dial. Not by a whole lot though, but still enough to feel comfortable through this last lap there. But it's sideways through turn 3 for AJ Lund, but he's a little bit more than that if you're Jackson Dial to have a chance at this one. Last lap here, and I will say for Jackson Dial, hasn't pulled away from Charlie Steins as much as he would have probably expected with the pace that he showed earlier on in this heat race. Nonetheless though, penultimate corner, now final corner, AJ Lund's going to cross the line and win the heat race for KA Senior ahead of Jackson Dial, ahead of Charlie Steins. That's your top 3. Further back, it's going to be Lane Gibbs there. No, they're getting the 2 to go they're getting 2 to go here, so I think our timing and scoring is showing
wow.
they finished. But there's still 2 laps to go in this one, so they're still racing here. So AJ Lund leads ahead of Jackson Dial. Charlie Steins, 2 laps to go. Apologies on the timing and scoring there, showing that it was finished, but 2 to go for the top car driver of AJ Lund here. So pedal to the metal for the 43 driver, who's starting to pull away slightly over Jackson Dial. Charlie Steins actually on the rear bumper of the MPG driver there. Now it's white flag in the air for AJ Lund, who rounds the first corner here and extends his advantage even more over the MPG driver.
Yeah, just you know, a little bit of more track time than what these drivers paid for, but you know, nobody's complaining here. All having a good time and in good spirits, and you know, it kind of shows you why, you know, you don't stop driving and you don't stop pushing until you see the checkered flag or until somebody pulls you off the racetrack. So good there for AJ Lund and company there, as the checkered flag comes out this time by, and he does win now the heat here for your KA100 Masters and your KA Seniors. So a good drive by AJ Lund to put himself right where he started this race, on the inside. But this time it's going to be alongside Jackson Deal as the MPG looks to challenge here in the race winner. And we saw him have good pace there. It was Charlie Steins, though, in the top cart, wrapping up your top 3. So Jackson Deal going to find himself in a top cart sandwich when we get to it later on today. But that was your KA Masters and KA Seniors, as we get set for some main event racing here shortly, Alex.
Yeah, main event racing shortly. We have a small break in the schedule, so we can, you know, figure out exactly the timing order and the order of each race coming up here for our 9 minutes plus 2 lap main events. Here's our 206 Sportsman class. That's O'Gara with a move on the inside there of Austin Taylor. That was a move that he made and didn't look back to claim the heat race victory there in the 206 Sportsman class. How about it for Reagan Hodges? She's going to start on pole position in the 206 Cadet class. She was dominant in that one ahead of Brett Hastings. How about it in 206 Senior Medium? We saw action all the way throughout. All 19 carts here put on a show. That was Jen Scheimer going around the outside to make that move stick and claim the victory in the heat race. Here's your Masters class, where Matt Gase went at it with one of the Burrell Art drivers there, but ultimately claimed the victory there. Here's a bit of side-by-side action, but it wasn't enough to take the top spot from Gase. Cross the line to win the 206 Masters class. And then what we just witnessed, the KA Seniors, AJ Lund led from start to finish. He was your pole sitter. He's your winner in the heat races there. And we're getting set here for some finals racing action, but we have about 10 minutes in the books here before we get set for some finals action. Longer races than what we saw in the heat races. It's going to be 9 minutes plus 2 laps when we come back.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace, because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
We're at a commercial break.
Welcome back to Whiteland Raceway Park, round 3 of the Indy Karting Challenge. We just saw a lot of great heat racing action, but it is time to go out there and try to claim some hardware for a lot of our drivers here. The classes in the morning slates are 206 Sportsman, 206 Cadet, 206 Senior Medium, 206 Junior, 206 Masters, and KA Senior and KA Masters. So, all those drivers put on a show for us this morning in the 5-minute plus 2-lap heat races, but for the feature races, it is 9 minutes plus 2 laps here. So, it should be even more interesting when you add 4 minutes of racing action here around a racetrack that averages between a 37-second and a 45-second lap time. So 5 minutes will add about 6 or 7 laps to your tally at the end of it all. So for some of our drivers who struggled at the end of the heat race, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, look at their tire pressures, look at their setup, say what can we do to make this kart better in the long run, because these races are about to be 15 plus laps. Let's give you guys, if you're just tuning in, a bit of a rundown of what we have seen in terms of racing action throughout the day. So, in our 206 Sportsman class, we saw the battle between O'Gara and Austin Taylor, with O'Gara eventually getting the race victory. In our Cadet class, it was all about Reagan Hodges getting the victory over Brett Hastings. And then our senior medium class, it was all about Ryan Gensheimer there. A late charge from Eli Fox and others tried to put a halt to his progress, but Gensheimer came out on top with a great over-under move on the final lap to claim the heat race victory. Then at 206 Masters, we saw Matt Gase go at it with one of the Burrell drivers there, but Gase came out on top in the end of that one. Then we saw our KA senior class, where AJ Lund didn't look back from the moment the green flag waved in the air. Jackson Dial had a bit of a great drive through the field after a poor start. Came up just short to finish second, but only a heat race. Still one more race for these drivers. It's the one that counts, though. It's the one where you can stand on the podium with a trophy in your hands.
Yeah, for sure. You don't get hardware for winning any heat races. You don't get hardware for putting it on the pole position in qualifying. You don't get hardware for winning warm-up. This is it, right? And this being a championship, you want to be in with as many championship points as you can, right? Whenever we went to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati last week, we talked about it. Long championships, and you want to have bragging rights in your home track and around your club friends and people that you know. So it's going to be the same thing here at Whiteland, right? You want to, it's a long championship. I always call them marathons, not sprints, even though it is sprint racing. But they're, it's a long championship. Goes throughout the year. You have to, keep it consistent, keep it on the racetrack, and do your best there. As you see, for those of you viewers watching at home, follow Whiteland Raceway Park on Facebook, Race WRP on Instagram, and then you can subscribe there on YouTube at Whiteland Raceway Park. And that's on YouTube there. Or, join the Whiteland Raceway Park Discord server as well there, as you have the QR code there at the bottom of your screen. So a lot of fun stuff. And then, for us, Alex, we talked about it last week. We're super grateful earlier this week, I should say, on Grid Talk. We're super grateful to have the privilege to come out here and do this for our KC Grassroots page to really, promote club racing, right? Because this is, where stars are born. Right, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the grassroots racing, I wish I had this when I was going through the ranks in the grassroots level, because I think, having this stage now to kind of showcase your talents, like you said, everyone has to go through the club, the regional level before getting to the national level, right? You don't just start there. You have to be able to, work on your driving, compare, see where you stack up against others at your home track before you go out to different states, to some of the major racetracks that we, some of the larger, racetracks that we go to. But for Whiteland Raceway Park, this is one of the best, smaller tracks that we see. I mean, I've had the privilege of being here, right? It's a great racetrack, one of the more fun ones. And again, it's a very fast-flowing, technical racetrack, 37 to 45 second lap time, depending on the chassis and engine that you elect to race. But for the grassroots stuff, I mean, again, some of the best racing that we see, right? We've seen some great action all morning long, and I expect more of the same here in these feature races, and even into the afternoon slate when we have 6 more classes on the plate for us to go ahead and watch and be entertained by. So here's our 206 Sportsman class, the largest class of the morning here. I think about 21 go-karts in 206 Sportsman, and it's Danny O'Gara and Austin Taylor on the front row here, Caleb.
Yeah, Danny O'Gara, has shown us his pace pretty much all day long in his top kart there. But, I mean, he has been challenged. He has been kept honest here. So it's going to be a lot of work. Danny O'Gara has a lot of laps around this place, knows how to get around here in whatever you put him in. Himself and Austin Taylor are going to go at it here for this main event glory here. So let's see what these drivers can do as they get to the last couple of corners here. And Danny O'Gara and Austin Taylor are going to lead us to the green flag here, as they will lead all 20 of these drivers. A quick start here in this one, and the green flag is out. We are racing here. Danny O'Gara with a good start so far goes to the point of the field, and for Taylor, losing out a couple of spots already here at the start. And already has a lot of work to do if he wants to get right back up to the rear bumper of that blue and white top kart who at the moment, another one of the MPG Motorsports Kart Republics sits behind him.
Yeah, like we have noticed all day long, the inside lane is where you want to be. And for Dominic Gaddis, he went from third to second there. Austin Taylor fell back to outside your top 5 as it stands. It's O'Gara, and then it's Gaddis. Then it's one of the top carts, I believe. I believe that might be Feichtinger, maybe in third place when they cross the stripe. No, it's going to be Titus Roberts in third. Then it's Feichtinger in fourth. Hudson Howard fifth. Austin Taylor has fallen back to sixth, 3.5 seconds back from the race lead. So it's O'Gara ahead of Gaddis. Those two drivers have pulled away now from this battle right here between Roberts and Feichtinger there on board the Kart Republic. So Will Feichtinger all up on the rear bumper of Roberts. Looks back and see Hudson Howard behind him. And they have to look even further back to see Austin Taylor, who after a poor start is looking to make amends for that one in here. And then Blake Martinez is 7th. He was actually your pole sitter heading into the heat race earlier this morning. He sits in 7th after a poor start to his morning. He's looking to make amends for that one. 8.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. As it stands, Danny O'Gara, the only driver in the 43-second brackets in this one. It's still early doors, but 1.1 seconds is your lead for O'Gara.
Yeah, I mean, a super long race here in this one. I wouldn't say super long. I mean, a longer race here in this one, right? Adding just 4 more minutes and then plus 2 laps. So for these drivers, right, setup's going to be super key around this place. You know, the tire pressures that you choose to go on, so you don't peak way too early on the day. You know, it's going to be super critical all the way around. So for the likes of Danny O'Gara and Dominic Gaddis, you know, if they want to stay ahead, and if Danny O'Gara wants to stay ahead by a good margin, Dominic Gaddis, he better hope that, you know, Gaddis didn't decide to put on a super low tire pressure, you know, Joe Turney-like, and then come out in the last 3 laps and you know, come out of nowhere and fight for the race win.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands, though, Danny O'Gara putting on a clinic, 43.186. The only other driver in the 43s is the driver in second, Dominic Gaddis. He's at a 43.9, so he's 0.8 off the pace of what O'Gara is able to do. O'Gara already with a 2-second advantage over the rest of the field. 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go for the 67 machine this time around. Another 0.5 of a second advantage over Gaddis. And then it's 5 seconds back to Will Feichtinger, who's gotten around Titus Roberts. Hudson Howard in 5th. Blake Martinez 6th. Where is Austin Taylor? He's fallen back to 11th. So your outside hitter for this final is outside the top 10. He's had a shocker of a start. And whoa, O'Gara there getting around lap traffic. A bit of a heartbeat skip, I'd say, for him. Not what he would want to see in the early stages of this feature race, but he makes it stick there with an aggressive move around one of our lapped cars there. But for O'Gara, if I'm looking back at that, I'd say maybe it wasn't worth the risk, but it paid off for him. Risk versus reward for O'Gara. 2.6 seconds now is the advantage over second place.
Yeah, I mean, wow. He was trying to get through lap traffic there in the bowl, and just a little bit of contact in between two of them. They seem to be all right. I mean, Danny O'Gara seems to be good here in this one, still leading us away. I mean, Alex, you've spent a couple of years racing. I mean, did you ever run this 206 package? I mean, I know it was different back in the day, but did you ever run, you know, in the lower ranks in something similar? And then, you know, what was that like for you? And how did that help you develop, you know, throughout your years of racing?
Yeah, I mean, I ran the lower ranks. I was in the micro class in the two-stroke side of things, but I obviously then transitioned from micro I went from micro to junior, from junior into senior, and then in senior I went to 206 for a while, then KA senior. But on the micro side of things, I spent a while doing you know, the micro max category back at my home track, back when it was a thing at Opa-locka, doing a bunch of laps. I tested for about 2 years straight just lapping, and that was some of the best, you know, times that I have racing, because it taught me everything that I know today, and I've been fortunate enough to now, you know, do a bunch of stuff in cars. But I'd say without that level of lapping at this age, this early in my career, I don't think I'd be where I am today, because you take in a lot of information when you're younger, right? When you're older, you kind of get stubborn, and it's harder to kind of pick things up, I'd say. But as a younger driver, you really remember things. You kind of look up to a lot of people. So I had a lot of mentors that helped me along the way, and I trust them because I'm younger, right? So they must know more than me, and so I took in a lot of information from coaches around me, and just by lapping a lot, you learn a lot with slower engine packages. Especially when I was a tiny kid. I'm still a tiny kid, like you and I, the short kings of the world. So having to wheel such a heavy go-kart sometimes made me stronger. Made me really understand the physics early on, and for sure it doesn't get much better than I would say than driving at a young age. And plus, I mean, how cool is that? You get to go brag to your friends at 8 years old that you go race go-karts. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, for the likes of Danny O'Gara or any of these kids, really, I always think it's pretty cool. Like, I was just racing this past weekend. I won or I crashed or, I was going 40 plus miles an hour at this much, battling wheel to wheel, open wheels, flipping over, doing whatever it is, and they go to school and tell that to a teacher, and she's probably like, oh my goodness, like what are these kids doing on the weekends, when we don't have them? But yeah, this is really what racing is all about, right? Love being in the paddock, seeing all these kids. These are usually the kids, that'll hang around, kick a ball around, throw a football around, or do whatever, eat way too much candy than what they need, and spend their time, either messing with their parents, mechanics, telling them, are you done yet? And I want to go back out on the racetrack, or whatever it may be. But it's really good to see these kids have a good time, and then keep them entertained in racing. They got to put that energy somewhere, and they're putting it on the racetrack, which is good to see.
Yeah, and for sure, Danny O'Gara is doing just that. His lead is now 6 seconds over Dominic Gaddis. Then it's Titus Roberts, who got back around Feichtinger there for third. And then it's Hudson Howard, 11 seconds back from the lead. The battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th is a close one there. Hudson Howard just got around Feichtinger now. And then it's Blake Martinez, who's got back to 6th place. Where's Austin Taylor? Taylor back up to 9th. So after his opening lap where he fell back to 11th, he's back up to 9th. Looking to make a little bit more out of this one to see if he can, make anything happen after the poor start. Like we were talking about, though, I mean, I always find the funniest thing is there's always when drivers go to from Sportsman to Cadet to or micro mini to junior, there seems to be a change in the attitude, right? If you ever watch these kids hang out, they're all best buddies. All these guys at Sportsman drivers, go to junior. Time to meet each other, and the senior guys, it's like you might get a handshake out of those guys. So there's always a flip of the switch. I was guilty of it too myself. I tried to be close to these guys, but I think as you get older, the level of competition raises, the stakes raise, and so the pressure is up, and you start to less buddy, more okay. You're kind of an enemy here. Your friend off the track, but on the racetrack, we're kind of not friends. And so I always find it so funny when these kids are just such good friends. They come off the racetrack and they're all handshakes, high fives, and fist bumps. And little do they know that in 5 or so years they're going to be like, okay, this is a competition now. But for Danny O'Gara, there isn't much of a competition right now. 7.5 seconds is his lead over Dominic Gaddis. Titus Roberts now extends his advantage over Feichtinger, who's lost ground to that 3rd place spot and final step on the podium. So now is looking further back at the battle for 5th and 6th. Hudson Howard, Blake Martinez is in the mix in that one. Dylan Thomas put together a personal best. He's in 7th. There's O'Gara, a much smarter decision, I'd say, than what he did a couple of laps ago when he made that move on the lap of traffic there. Being patient, he knows 7 seconds is a long time for the battle for the back. Here is the 11 machine. That is Dylan Thomas. He was a personal best last time around. He's kind of a lone ranger right now. A little too far back for the battle for 6th. A little too far ahead of the battle for 8th. So he's probably going to end up in 7th when it's all said and done. There's one of the lap cars there. There's Danny O'Gara in the bowl corner, having to get around him. Let's see through the hairpin. He's going to be patient, but it's going to have to go around the outside. Now an over-under there. Good job for O'Gara to get around the lap traffic. When he crossed the stripe, 2-1, and the clock hits 0. So that means 2 to go. 2 sticks in the air for Danny O'Gara.
So 2 laps to go for Danny O'Gara this time by. And I think there's a big train of go-karts further back for the battle for 8th here, if I'm not mistaken. That's the train that you guys are seeing there on the edge of your screens. That's all the battle for 8th, and they continue to shuffle and jockey for position further back. But for Danny O'Gara, I mean, has been a smooth sailing race all race long, kept it clean, kept it together, and has done a great job of it. Here is the bull corner, and then you see all those go-karts there fighting for position. A lot of racing action as they go side by side there. A lot of go-karts. This is the likes of Austin Taylor, who finds himself in there. Trip Golnick, William Vector, Kaysen Hendrickson, all drivers that find themselves in this battle. But the white flag is out, and all the while all this fighting occurs, Danny O'Gara hasn't looked back since the race started. Started on the pole position after taking away the first heat race, and has done a great job of keeping his kart out in front. So for the top kart, has been smooth sailing so far. There's more moves there. Taylor finds himself there under fire as all these drivers continue to shuffle through, and you see I guess a very good day for Danny O'Gara, as he's going to take the win here in 2:06 Sportsman. So Danny O'Gara, your big winner. And there, Dominic Gaddis getting set to cross the line next. And he did cross, so Gaddis P2, Titus Roberts P3. There is across the line for Feichtinger and Hudson Howard. And then you see the rest of the cavalry trying to work their way through. A lot of shuffling there in that one. I mean, Alex, there's 2 different frames and 2 different stories to that race, right? You had Danny O'Gara on a nice Sunday drive through a field there, or with the sun out, the flowers blooming, and then further back in the field you had absolute chaos through a very crowded city. So, I mean, it was a good race all around, and those drivers really delivered us a nail-biting race the entire way through.
Yeah, O'Gara with a Sunday drive on Saturday. The rest of the field, like you said, it's like going through Miami traffic. Probably some fun for them back there, but not as much less stressful for Danny O'Gara. Here's the replay of the drivers fanning out wide early on in this one. That was Austin Taylor losing a bunch of spots on the opening stages of the race. Here's O'Gara on lap 3, going through lap traffic, using the front right tire there to kind of push his way through. I'm sure a heart-stopping moment there, because that could easily have sent him spinning around. So for O'Gara, lucky to be facing the right direction after that one. Here is the group of go-karts that we were talking about. That's about 8th through 15th in this one, and those drivers didn't stop battling from the moment the green flag waved. There's Hudson Brown getting through on, I believe that was, or Hudson Howard, sorry, getting through on Blake Martinez, and then didn't look back. But for O'Gara, a nice celebration there as he crosses the stripe to win the feature race. And then further back, like we mentioned, there's Austin Taylor. This is Sears, Golnick, LePen, Vetter, Hendrickson, Wiley, and Peebles there. That was your group from 8th through 15th. But for Danny O'Gara, that's your winner of the first of many feature races that we'll see this morning, and then obviously 6 more classes to come in the afternoon.
Yeah, so a lot of racing action as well in the afternoon to get set to go green. But here in this one, it's our 206 cadets who have made their way onto the racetrack now, where Reagan Hodges going to start on the pole position here. It's going to be Brett Hastings, starting second. It's going to be Patrick McNeely starting third, Chase Call starting fourth, and Audrey Luttrell starting P5, and Shotgun Charlie on the field. It's been all about Reagan Hodges so far in this 206 cadet class. Let's see if Hastings or McNeely or anybody else here in this class can challenge the fast and flying pink go-kart there at the front of the field. So let's see what it looks like when they go into the tram lines this time by. The green flag is out, and we are racing here in 206 cadet. A good start there by Hodges, already to the point of the field, and not much side-by-side action there as they get into a perfectly straight line. And there's a move there on the inside. I believe, I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was Hastings getting the move back down on call who was able to get ahead there for a second.
Yeah, Chase Call, a great start to get the P2, but like you said, Brett Hastings, a good, late braking maneuver there into turn 3, gets the move done. He goes defensive now on Chase Call. Early doors in this one here. Obviously still 9 minutes and 2 laps to go, but look at the run Hastings has on Hodges. We saw Reagan there pull out about a 4-second advantage in the heat race. Brett Hastings is hoping to not let that happen this time around here, as he's staying close enough, but obviously still 9 minutes to go and 2 laps to go in this feature race. A lot can still happen. So far, it's Reagan Hodges ahead of Brett Hastings, who's still going slightly defensive into each corner. I feel like if he's able to just round those corners off a little bit better, he can get better runs onto the back straightaway. Nonetheless, though, he's within drafting distance if Reagan were to make a mistake in this one, but she has been almost perfect all weekend, and wow, I thought for a moment there Brett Hastings was going to go for a move early on to this one, but that's a good showing for us as the viewer in terms of we might be on for a pretty exciting race here if Hastings is feeling that race early on.
Yeah, so Hastings already, doing a good job so far here in this one to try and close down that gap. And he has, as my eyes deceive me every time we go through that corner, and it just absolutely looks like whoever's leading the train just completely breaks down. But it's just literally just my eyes, I guess, playing mind tricks on me here. But, Hodges still leads, so the timing on the left of your screen there, a little bit off. Hastings currently sits in that second spot. Hodges leads, and they continue to go side by side there. I think Hastings, just cutting the track a little bit short in the hairpin sections, and that allows, Hodges to open up that gap here a little bit. But, for Hastings, I think his go-kart, is there to contend for the race win here. But I think he just needs to, keep it smooth, keep it steady, and then he'll be right there on the rear bumper of Hodges.
Yeah, Hastings is actually pretty quick through the open couple corners of the racetrack, but after this bowl corner, he takes these next 2 hairpins a little too tight here. You'll see his line difference between Hodges and Hastings. See, he cuts it really shallow there, and it puts him on the wrong line for this right-hander, and then he exits really wide there, and you see the run that Hodges gets out of the corner. And I think Hodges is just able to round those corners off better and get a quicker straightaway speed, and that's what's been costing Brett Hastings. But nonetheless, the go-kart for Hastings is set up to be able to make it happen. So through these corners, even though the line, it might be a little bit tighter for Hastings than Hodges, he's able to roll the speed to the center of the corner, and you can see Brett Hastings able to get back to the rear bumper almost of Hodges here. So if he can just get that corner, turn 4 right onto the back straightaway, it could leave him in a pretty good position here. But through the bowl corner, with his tight line through this hairpin, he might make a late lunge to this corner. Thought about it, not going to happen. Brett Hastings looking quick. So too is Chase Call, I will say. Only 1.6 back from the lead here. It's 3 minutes down, 6 to go in this feature race.
Yeah, so already 6 minutes to go left in this feature race for Hodges. Still, doing a good job to try and keep Hastings behind, but Chase Call as well beginning to close down that gap here. Would look to be a runaway drive for Reagan Hodges earlier this morning. It's not going to be like that this time by, because you have Hastings and Chase Call already here joining the party. Chase Call answering the call and getting himself up to the top 3 and getting even closer to the top 2, and maybe even contending for a race win here. So let's see what it looks like for these drivers this time by, as we're halfway through this race. And this is to the point, where if you got tire pressures right, you're just now coming to life. So for the likes of Chase Call, that could be the case, but for the likes of Hodges, if you went a little too high on tire pressure, you could probably be feeling it right now, Alex.
Yeah, for sure. And for Reagan Hodges, she might be feeling it, because at this stage in the race, I think the 2 behind her are quicker as it stands. But with lap traffic in the mix, whoa, Brett Hastings got to the rear bumper of Reagan Hodges and almost spun around there, but that's going to cost him a chance at a race victory there. Unfortunately for your leaders, they all misread what the lapped car was doing, and it's going to cost them a lot of time. For Reagan Hodges, this is a early birthday present, because Chase Call got stuck behind one of the lapped cars there, and with Brett Hastings almost spinning around, This is going to give Reagan Hodges a huge lead with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, a huge lead. Like you said, with just 4 minutes to go on literally what would look to be, you know, a super close battle, but unfortunately for the likes of Hastings there, you see the instant replay as they're going through the corner and just got involved with lap traffic there. Just got put a little sideways, or did he make contact with Hodges there, trying to make a move? I hope we can watch that again one more time to see if it was Hodges and Hastings that made contact there. And I think it was, Alex. I think, unfortunately, Hastings just kind of clipped the rear bumper there. If you're going to watch it one more time there on the bottom of your screen, it looked like Hastings just maybe caught a little, yeah, and it looked like it was. So contact in between Hodges there and Hastings is what ended it here for Hastings. So it was a little bit of contact there in between Reagan Hodges and Brett Hastings here in this one, Alex. Wow. So a good job by the camera crew here at Whiteland and our production crew who are doing a great job here to deliver us, you know, some great instant replays and some great action on the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I will say this much. I did mention that Reagan Hodges was given an early birthday present, but how about it for Chase Call? He has answered the call, and after getting held up by one of the lapped cars and being put 2 seconds adrift from the lead, he's now within 7/10 of your leader. So Chase Call almost to the rear bumper with 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 50 seconds, should I say, and 2 laps to go in this feature race. Anything is still possible for the 15 machine, and I will say this much: 4 seconds back is Brett Hastings. If the two leaders begin to battle, this is all still to play for the driver that we just saw half spin trying to get around the leader. Reagan Hodges, a bit of a mistake there out of the penultimate corner. Look at the gap between Reagan Hodges and the energy cart behind her. Chase Call all over the rear bumper now. 2/10 is the gap between your two leaders. 2.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go through turn 1 and 2. Where does Chase make his move? Through turn 2, not going to happen. Maybe turn 3. Thought about it, thought better of it. Reagan Hodges goes wide. Chase setting up a move here towards the back straightaway. Look at the run that Call might be able to get. Here we go. Down the back straightaway through the chicane here. The left, right, and then left again chicane through the bowl corner for Chase Call. All over the rear bumper in the draft now of Hodges. Not going to happen. Still 2 minutes to go in this one. But for Chase Call, all over the rear bumper. He knows at this stage in the race he is faster. But one thing is catching, another thing is passing. These two drivers need to treat this like a qualifying session, just with a little bit of passing involved. So 1.5 minutes to go for these two drivers, continuing to set personal best laps as they go through the race. I thought Chase Call was going to make a move there. I think that might be the move that he's planning on doing as this race comes to a close. About 4 laps to go for these very young drivers here. Hodges still leads, but this is as close as Chase has been all race long. Through the bowl corner, look at the run. He might make a move to the inside here. Maybe. Not going to happen. Reagan Hodges holds on once again from Chase Call. 1.5 minutes to go. Hodges went purple, but Chase Call went purple as well last time by. So the two fastest drivers on the racetrack. Now Hodges goes purple. Chase Call just a little bit slower than what Hodges did last time by. They cross the line with about 55 seconds left, which means they're going to see 3 to go next time by. So 3 more chances for Chase Hall to go and make a move on the 33 machine. If Reagan Hodges were to hold on and win this race, it would be a great performance from her, because the pace doesn't seem to be there, but her defensive driving is. And so for Chase Call, up on the bumper now of Hodges through the penultimate corner, he needs to see where he's faster, because I think as it stands, Reagan Hodges is fast enough through the center of the corner to where she can carry the speed, and Chase Call can't make a move out of that penultimate corner. Reagan got a great run, and now around lap traffic. A good job by Hodges. Can Chase get through as well? This is where he got held up last time. He's held up again, but not as much. Round the outside there and makes it stick. So Chase Call only lost about a car length to your leader here with 6 seconds plus 3 laps to go. So next time around, they will see the 2 sticks in the air. Chase Call versus Reagan Hodges who's going to win it in 206 Cadet. I thought Chase Call was going to make a move to the inside there, but Reagan Hodges, with good defensive driving, made it work. Rounding the final corner now, 2 sticks in the air for the 33 machine out front. 4 tenths separates your first and second place drivers now through turn 1 and 2. Chase Call with a good run here through turn 2. Does he make a run to the inside of the hairpin? Not going to happen there. I think that's his best chance as it stands, but wow, with a mistake through turn 3 for Reagan Hodges, Chase Call has a great chance down the back straightaway with a draft here in hand. Left, right, and then back through the left bowl corner for these young drivers. Rounding the bowl corner, down the back straightaway, into the hairpin for Chase Call. I think we just saw a bird there go across the racetrack, but nonetheless, a lap and a half, less than a lap and a half to go now because they're going to cross the stripe here to see 1 lap to go. And yeah, a matter of fact, that wasn't a bird. I think my eyes were deceiving me there. That is Reagan Hodges' side pod that just came off her go-kart. So for Reagan Hodges, I wonder what race control is going to do about that one. Her side pod has fallen completely off the go-kart with 2 laps to go. That is unfortunate for the 33 machine there of Reagan Hodges. Here's a replay of what happened. It just popped right off with really, nothing to dislodge it there. Almost just like a bolt caught loose on her go-kart, and the side pod came off her go-kart. So Hodges gonna cross the stripe here to see the checkered flag. She looks down at the side pod. It doesn't matter. She's gonna win the 206 Cadet final ahead of Chase Call, who gave it everything he had, but it wasn't enough. Reagan Hodges, unofficially your winner in 206 Cadet. Chase Call second. Brett Hastings rounds out your podium here, and then it's Patrick McNeely and Audrey Luttrell. That's your top 5 in 206 Cadet. What a race for your young drivers there. They're looking at the side pod now to see kind of, exactly what caused it to dislodge and come off her go-kart. But here's a replay of the race. Good start for the inside lane. It was Chase Call pushing Reagan Hodges through to the point, and then Brett Hastings got back by Chase Call in turn number 3 in this one. Good move there for Brett Hastings. And now it looked as though Brett Hastings was going to be the main contender, but with this contact right there on Reagan Hodges, that cost him a chance at a victory. He still finished on the podium though for Hastings. That being said, Chase Call now, it kind of unleashed him to give him a chance at a race victory. But overall, this was how close it was. Chase had many chances throughout, but with the defensive driving from Reagan Hodges and the help a little bit of some lap traffic, she was able to hold on and claim the victory in 206 Cadet. Here's kind of the biggest story out of this one though. Her side pod fell off without any contact. The bolts just came loose. Super unfortunate for her, but as it stands, unofficially, she is still your race winner there. Kind of like a vintage Kart back in the day without a side pod there for Reagan. But for her, the 33 machine wins 206 Cadet ahead of ahead of Chase Call, ahead of Brett Hastings. That's your top 3. Coming up next, that was 206 Cadet. We shift our focus to the senior medium main event. We'll take a quick commercial break and hear a word from our sponsors. When we come back, it's going to be Ryan Gensheimer on pole position. All right, go-karts on the racetrack for 206 senior medium. Ryan Gensheimer on pole. Then it's going to be the 78 machine of Jared Howerton. We saw them go back and forth in the latter stage of the heat races. Expect more of that in this feature race. How about it? Elijah Fox in 3rd. Evan McCorkadale, he had a great charge through the field, finished 4th. Then Braden Johnson 5th. Levi Wilbur 6th. Gavin Baird in 7th. Then it's going to be Gage Justiniano. Then Brady Sappenfeld in 9th. And then Kyler Peebles. That's your top 10 as it stands in senior medium. The grid is set. They're slow and steady, led by the MGM driver of Ryan Gensheimer. Howerton on his outside. Those are the two that were going back and forth in the latter part of the heat race earlier this morning. But as the drivers work to get any bit of heat in their tires for this long 9-minute and 2-lap main event, a lot of laps around this Whiteland Raceway Park here. They're waiting for the flagman signal. Green in the air for Gensheimer. A good start for the inside row. How about it for Howerton there? The first time that the outside lane has worked. Howerton through to P1. And then P2 is going to be, I believe, McCorkadale, who's put himself into second. And then how about it for the likes of Braden Johnson and Levi Wilbur? They have moved Gensheimer back to 4th position there. So Braden Johnson now in 5th. Elijah Fox, we saw him get all sorts of sideways through turn number 1. He falls back to outside your top 5. So a hectic start for your senior medium class. But it's Howerton ahead of McCorkadale, ahead of Wilbur, ahead of Gensheimer, your pole sitter, down in 4th position as it stands. Braden Johnson 5th, Eli Fox 6th, Gavin Bayard 7th, Mayfield, Sapperfield, and 4th. That is your top 10 here in the senior medium class. Still 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Gensheimer to the inside of Wilbur. He's through, so the MGM driver back up into 3rd position there. This is the first time all weekend that he's had karts in front of him that he has to go ahead and pass. So now, what can the MGM driver do with 2 drivers ahead of him that are probably going to work together because they know what it takes to win around this place, including Howerton, who thought he had the win in the heat race. Now he has a great chance to win in the future.
Yeah, super tight-packed field, and I mean, we saw earlier today, right? It was a battle all the way to the end of it, where Gensheimer and a couple of others were going at it. So, you know, it's going to be an all-out brawl here for 206 glory in the senior medium final here at Whiteland Motorsports Park or Raceway Park. Jared Howerton currently leads us away, and like you said, Alex, I mean, you know, for all these drivers, keeping it clean, keeping it on the racetrack, and it's a super long championship, so they're really going to have to, you know, find their space on the racetrack and give each other that respect. I mean, we're so used to seeing, you know, so much 206 racing. We're such you know, train racing. You push one another forward. So I'll be expecting to see, you know, something similar than what we're used to seeing at Cup Karts North America, where it's a lot of training and pack racing, right? For all these drivers that probably will end up taking part whenever CKNA does come to Whiteland Raceway Park. So, I mean, good racing so far, and you see them just kind of work together to try and push each other forward.
Yeah, so it's Howerton that leads ahead of McCorkadale, Gensheimer, then it's Wilbur. How about it for Eli Fox, who's gotten back in the mix of things? He's in 5th. Look at the train of go-karts. It's a 7-car train for the battle for the lead here in 206 senior medium. 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go. McCorkadale, he goes purple last time by. He's in 2nd place as it stands. They're already catching up to some lap traffic, so let's hope those drivers can get out of the way here for our leaders. But for Eli Fox, he's now got himself up into 4th. He got around Wilbur there in turn number 3. So Fox, after a bad start, he fell out to 7th. He's back up to 4th. So Fox up into 4th. Wilbur 5th. Braden Johnson 6th. Gavin Bayard is the final go-kart in that train of 7. So there's the lap cards, and then behind them, it's Howerton, who leads the train of McCorkadale, Gensheimer. I expect these 7 to kind of work together, at least the top 3. If you're further back than 5th, you're probably trying to make some moves happen to be in that battle for the top 5, top 3. Nonetheless, a 3-car breakaway out front, and then it's Fox who's closing the gap. He's pulled away from Wilbur, Johnston, and Bayard. So it's a 4-car breakaway out front, with 2 lapped cars in front of your leader. 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, plus 2 laps to go. A lot of racing action is left. I'll be curious to see if they elect to work together or battle it out. Eli Fox goes purple as expected with how quick he was last time by here. 2 lapped carts in front of your leader. Do they get out of the way, or they're going to have to work for it here?
Yeah, so they're definitely going to have to try and work for it there as they try and muscle their way through and leave that driver there on the outside, and they do make some some space there on the racetrack, so everybody able to get through. But for Eli Fox, I mean, like you were saying, right, Alex, he's been really, really quick all race long. Fell outside of the top 5, but has worked his way right back up there and already looking to make quick work of Gensheimer here in this one as they get set to go down the main straightaway for Gensheimer and Eli Fox, who seem to have lost a little bit of touch there. On the exit of the double hairpins. So let's see what it looks like this time by. Wow, and what a move there. Gensheimer on the inside there of the number 19 and able to get the move done. So McCorkindale going to have to fall back to the 3rd spot and work together, because you already see, you know, what a move does to you around here, right? If you fight a little too much for that 2nd spot, you're going to let the leader get away. So they're definitely going to have to, you know, continue to work together, and they go side by side there into the 2nd to last corner. You know, the gloves are definitely off here with 4 minutes and a little bit of change to go.
Gloves are off early. Fox to the inside. Gets the nose chopped from above him there. McCorkindale remains in 3rd. You don't want to battle too much for 3rd, though, because the likes of Braden Johnson, Wilbur, and Bayard are there to pounce if you make a mistake. So, look at that. Like you mentioned, Caleb, one pass, and the pack can spread out there. So the battle for 3rd has given your top 2 a decent advantage now, to where if they begin to work together, because like I mentioned in the heat race, right? These leaders of Gensheimer and Howerton are 2 of the veterans now in the senior class, but really this top 4 is with McCorkindale, with Eli Fox. These are drivers that all know what it takes to win around this racetrack and in a 206 senior medium class. So side by side, Fox through to the inside on McCorkindale. That's a move that he needed to make, because after the start that he had, he feels as though he has top 3 pace in this one. 3 minutes to go plus 2 laps. What can Eli Fox do now? He's in the driver's seat of that 2nd train, leading McCorkindale. And then it's Braden Johnson leading the train of himself and Levi Wilbur. They have left Gavin Bayard behind in the dust. He is right now the Lone Ranger in 7th, 4 seconds ahead of Braden Mayfield. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining for Howerton, Gensheimer. Then it's Eli Fox who closed that gap to the leaders, back to a 4-car train again out front. It looks as though, to me, as it stands, Gensheimer is the fastest, and there he goes inside. Ooh. Not gonna happen. And now here comes Fox to the inside of Gensheimer. That might cost him a spot, and it does. He gets moved up the racetrack, moved Eli Fox to P2. Gensheimer from 2nd to 1st, back to 3rd in a matter of 2 corners there for the MGM driver. Here comes Braden Johnson now in the mix if these 3 begin to battle.
Yeah, so whenever these 3 begin to battle and decide to fight, I mean, there's a coyote right behind them that is really quick. So that's the likes of Braden Johnson and Levi Wilbur, who find themselves in the 5th and 6th spots. For Jared Howerton and Eli Fox, definitely going to have to work together here a little bit if they want to pull away from those 2 drivers who are closing down the gap here quickly. Down the back straightaway we go, and into the bowl here. It's still Howerton who leads from Fox, who, like you said, I mean, what a story for Eli Fox. He found himself way outside of the top 5, and a good recovery drive all day. Well, not all day, I mean, in the race, has really found himself up in the top 2 and in contention now for a race win to take away some hardware here at round number 3 of the Indy Karting Challenge. Is he close enough that time by? Not as of yet, and going to decide to continue to push the likes there of Gensheimer.
Yeah, 1 minute, 15 seconds remaining, plus 2 laps. So 4 to go in 206 senior medium. Howerton looks over his shoulder. He sees Eli Fox now all over his bumper. It's Gensheimer in 3rd. They have left the likes of McCorkindale further back. Wilbur gets a whoa! I don't know if he misses braking or if Fox moved with the racetrack, but way sideways goes Howerton. Move Eli Fox to the point now, the all-gold machine. He's back up in the P1. 46 seconds remaining now for the 01 to go out there and steal a victory in senior medium. Howerton is further back. You'll get a replay of this one out of the bull corner and into the braking zone. Does he get any help from Fox, or is it a missed braking zone? Let's see. It's hard to tell, but it looks as though I think Howerton just locked in the bumps. A bit of a mistake there from the veterans. So the 78 machine all on his lonesome there, lost it on the brakes. So 16 seconds plus 2 laps to go here. This one, 3 to go when they cross the line. It's Fox ahead of Howerton, ahead of Gensheimer. 3-car breakaway, and then the 4th place go-kart of McCorkerdale ahead of Wilbur, who got around Braden Johnson now. 2 seconds, 1 second. They just didn't make it in time for the 2 to go sticks. So 3 laps to go. Eli Fox went purple last time by. He's your new leader. It's Howerton now ahead of Gensheimer. Fox going defensive a little bit early here onto the back straightaway now. Fox hopping in the seat, putting his head down, trying to get every bit of speed out of that 11 horsepower Briggs and Stratton motor here through the pole corner and on the back straightaway. Fox goes sort of defensive there on Howerton, but it's still Fox out of Howerton, who does the same move he did on Gensheimer in the heat race. So now it's Howerton back to the point. 2 sticks in the air for your leader, Jared Howerton. It's Fox and then Gensheimer waiting patiently in 3rd to see if he can pounce.
Yeah, Gensheimer just biding his time here at the moment, waiting for his time to really try and pounce and get that move done. As they continue to cycle through, it's still Howerton who leads from Fox, who has had a good drive all day. Into the bowl we go. Is Gensheimer going to be close enough this time by? Nobody, everybody going to stay in line here. And into the hairpins is where we are going to expect to see some passing. We saw a mistake from Howerton through there and already going defensive, trying to keep Elijah Fox and Gensheimer behind here. The white flag is in the air this time by last lap in this 206 senior medium final. And so Howerton who leads us away, not even going defensive here from Gensheimer into the 2nd corner. Turn 3 has been one of the biggest passing points that we've seen. Is he close enough this time by? Elijah Fox on the inside, still side by side, and they go 3 wide there in turn number 4. And what an over-under move there by Gensheimer to slide himself up at a P2, still side by side in between Fox and Gensheimer into the bowl. They're going to lose a lot of time here to Howerton, and they continue to go side by side. And wow, Alex, what a move there by Gensheimer to work his way up to 2nd.
Gensheimer at P2, one last chance, sneaks it up the inside, uses the side pod, they're side by side. Final corner here, Howerton is going to steal the victory and win in senior medium across the stripe. Gensheimer does just enough to beat out Eli Fox for P2, McCorkerdale in 4th, Braden Johnson 5th, but Howerton, even with the late lunge by Gensheimer, holds the outside and wins in senior medium. Wow, that move on Eli Fox with 2 to go, that was the race-winning move. The same move he did in the heat race, he did it again in the final, and Jared Howerton got the race stolen from him in the heats. He steals it back in the feature.
What a race there by Howerton to take away some hardware here on this beautiful Saturday morning, or evening I should say now. But what a race there. I mean, Fox, Howerton, and Gensheimer all delivered some great racing action here, Alex.
Yeah, great racing action to, round off, the senior medium class here. Here's a bit of a replay of what we've seen throughout the race. We saw McCorkerdale get a good start early. Levi Wilbur up into 3rd at one point in this one. And then we saw Gensheimer side by side there with Howerton. Couldn't make it stick. And then Eli Fox said, I'm going to go into P2 now and see what I can do. And then we saw the likes of Fox and Howerton battle it out later on in the race. As a replay what we just saw there. But further later on in the race, we saw Fox make a move on Howerton. It was because of this late braking maneuver where Howerton missed the brakes on the bumps there in the brake zone. It gave Eli Fox a freebie to go out there and see if he can get the victory out front. But with this lunge, with 2 to go, it gave Howerton the lead, and ultimately he never looked back. One more chance for Fox. He made a move to the inside. Howerton held the outside, and then Gensheimer with a good over-under here. It now gave the MGM driver a chance to go out there and see what he can do against the 78 machine. Through the bowl corner and into the final couple of corners, we saw this late lunge with 2 corners to go. Ultimately, not enough. And Jared Howerton won the senior medium final, and that's how he did it. And you see what it means to him, slapping the side pod, all excited that he earned that one ahead of Fox and ahead of Gensheimer. So a great battle throughout in senior medium. As expected, those drivers always deliver. That being said, we go from the senior drivers to the junior drivers. It's Gabriel Payne, Lucian Laser, and then it's going to be the third place driver of Evan Patton, and then Colin Harden. Green flag in the air. Let's see if the outside can get the start again, like in medium. Not going to happen. Gabriel Payne, he remains your leader. Lucian Laser in second place, all over the bumper of Payne, who's sideways against the bumper of not what Laser would have wanted there. He was trying to set up the pass, and unfortunately Payne, with not a good exit, it actually helped him in the long run, and he had a better advantage than when he entered the corner. So for Gabriel Payne, a good start for him.
Yeah, good start for Payne, and it almost looked like Laser wanted to do an over-under there on the outside, but just could not get it done. So gonna have to, keep his head down and try and catch up to the rear bumper there of Payne, who's currently in the lead here at the moment. So we'll see what it looks like this time when they cross the stripe. The gap only at just over half a second in between Payne and Laser, so gonna have to do some work to get to that rear bumper of Payne, who currently sits in the lead. But it hasn't been too bad for Laser so far today. He just needs that extra little push from behind to try and get him up to the rear bumper here of Payne.
Yeah, as it stands, Payne's still your leader. The field's pretty spread out, more spread out than we've seen so far for this junior category. So Payne leads ahead of Lucian, Laser, Patton, Harden a bit further back here. But in the latter part of the heat race is when we saw Lucian Laser's kart come back into play. And so here, look at the lap times, 45.8 for your leader, 45.5 for Lucian Laser. So if that's anything to go off of, maybe it's tire pressures, but nonetheless, your P2 driver looks to have a decent amount of pace in the early stage of this race to where maybe he could have something to say about Gabriel Payne's overall pace that we've seen throughout the day so far. A long way to go, though. 8 minutes plus 2 laps to go here for our juniors 206 drivers.
Yeah, already a couple of minutes down and 8 minutes to go left in this one. If you haven't already, for those of you watching, obviously KC Premium members, but for those of you in and around the paddock, if you want to go back and watch the replay of this race, become a KC Premium member for $9.99 a month. You can watch all the racing action live from wherever we may go. You can watch the Stars Championship Series live next week and see some of your hometown and local kids go at it at Charlotte Motor Speedway in a couple of, next week, I should say. So for $9.99 a month, you can become a KC Premium member and watch all of the racing action live whenever it happens, or you can wait for the highlights to get released later on in the week, and then the full stream replay will be available to watch on the Wednesday after it aired. So next Wednesday you'll be able to rewatch this stream if you're not a KC Premium member, but if you are, make sure to go back and watch and give us a like of where you're watching from. Could be the paddock, could be your trailer, could be your garage, wherever it may be. Let me and Alex know where you guys are watching from, and we hope you guys are having as good of a time as me and Alex are out here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's always a good time announcing these races, and yeah, let us know where you're watching from. I always love to see, where our fans are kind of viewing the races from here for round 3 of the Indy Karting Challenge here at Whiteland Raceway Park. This is 206 Junior Racing. This is a feature race. There's 6 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Gabriel Payne still leads 1.5 seconds over Lucian Laser. He's keeping him honest, but he'll need to pick up the pace slightly if he wants a chance to defeat Gabriel Payne in this one. Payne with a bit of sideways action through turn number 4. They're not a great exit. That's going to help Laser out, but he'll need a few more of those mistakes from Payne to have a chance in this one. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left, plus 2 laps, and Gabriel Payne looking good in this one.
Yeah, Payne looking really good, and it's going to be tough for Laser to really try to pull something out of the bag and try and contend against Gabriel Payne. So we'll see what it's like in the closing stages of this race. But we're halfway through, 4 minutes in, 5 minutes left in this one for Gabriel Payne and Lucian Laser. who have been, flying here. Evan Patton as well in that third spot, running up your podium places, and then Colin Harden currently fourth.
Yeah, so there's your top 4 so far as it stands. Every single time that Lucien Laser puts together a good lap, Gabriel Payne responds with an even better lap. And so he's just ever so slightly extending his advantage. It's 1.8 seconds now. Now it's 2.1 as he crosses the stripe. So 2 laps in a row, and he extends it by 0.3 each lap. Evan Patton puts a personal best that time by 4.3 seconds back is the 61 machine. Then it's Colin Harden in fourth, the number 11 machine, doing a good job here in this 206 Junior final. We're 6 laps in, 4 minutes to go, 2 laps of extra time after that, so at least another 8 or so laps here in this 206 Junior final. A lot of racing still to go, so for Lucien Laser, still a chance here ahead of Gabriel Payne. But let's take a little look into the future here. After the 206 Junior final, what can we expect? Well, we can expect 206 Masters racing, which was a great show for us in that heat race. And then we could, of course, expect the KA Senior and KA Masters drivers to hit the racetrack to round out our opening, our morning slates of racing. Then a quick break. We'll do some kid car racing, and then we'll do the second round, the afternoon slate of driving, which consists of a lot more classes. 6 classes in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 12 classes in total is what consists of this Indy Karting Challenge. This is round 3, of course, at Whiteland Raceway Park. And for Gabriel Payne, it is smooth sailing so far. 2.9 seconds now is the advantage for him over Lucien Laser. Evan Patton doing a great job here in third, consistently setting personal best lap times as it stands.
Yeah, so as it stands, still lapping pretty good here for Gabriel Payne. Laser just hasn't really been able to contend. 2.5 seconds back. I think 2.9 seconds back from Gabriel Payne, who's just been super consistent on the steering wheel. Very minimal inputs, and has been doing a great job to keep his kart out in front here in this one. So been a good one so far for Gabriel Payne and Lucien Laser, who currently sits second. As well for Evan Patton, kind of no man's land, not close enough to the rear bumper there of Lucien Laser, and then just has enough of a gap back to Colin Harden in the fourth spot. So a little bit of spread out for these 4 drivers here in this one, but everybody in good spirits here, and it's good to see as many entries as we had in the Sportsman category and throughout the cadet classes, and then even in the medium class as well, right? I mean, it's really good to see for the club level stuff, to be growing, which is really the whole point of this KC grassroots effort, Alex.
Yeah, for sure. Always good to bring some content to the KC grassroots side of things. And for Gabriel Payne, he's definitely putting some content out there on the 206 Junior side of things, because he is being absolutely dominant. 3.5 seconds is his advantage over Lucien Laser. 1.5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps in this one, so about 5 or so laps, maybe plus or minus a lap there on my math. But for Gabriel Payne, doing a good job so far. The 45 machine hasn't put a foot wrong, and really he is putting together a Grand Slam performance as it stands. Pole position in qualifying, led every lap in the heat. So far has led every single lap in the main, plus a purple lap. So a Grand Slam in the cards here for Gabriel Payne. Lucien Laser doing a good job there in second place. Evan Patton being very consistent there in third place. His lap times are looking very consistent. Like I said, personal bests throughout the session. Colin Harden there rounds out your top 4 in the 206 Junior class. And this Gabriel Payne still leading, being consistent, being smooth with his hands. At the end of the day, when you're leading out here with such a big margin, it's easy to make a mistake. You kind of lose focus. So for Gabriel Payne, good on him to kind of just maintain mental focus. Never put a foot wrong, because anything has happened in racing, as I'm sure you and I both experienced. I know I have, where it's kind of a never say never situation sometimes in racing. So for Lucien Laser, doing everything he can, 3.7 back, 15 seconds plus 2 laps to go. Next time around, they're going to see the 2 sticks in the air.
So this next time around, with the time beginning to dwindle down, it's going to be 2 laps to go for Gabriel Payne, Lucian Laser, Evan Patton, and Colin Harden here in this 2:06 junior final. But yeah, 2 laps to go. And again, I mean, if you guys want to watch, all the racing action live throughout the year, become a KC Premium member for $9.99 a month. And I promise you guys, I don't get any sort of payment for saying that, but it's really helpful whenever you want to go back and watch either your kids or yourself, race wherever you may be. So pretty good for Gabriel Payne, as he did get the 2.6 last time by. So 2 laps to go for Gabriel Payne and company here in this one, where Payne's just kept it out in front. Been consistent, Alex, and the entire way through, right? Like you said, I mean, it's really easy to lose focus whenever you're racing for so long at a racetrack. But whenever you get it down, you get it right, and you'll be in good pace to open up that gap. And there he goes again, just opening up that gap little by little every single lap, being consistent, hitting his markers, and opens up that gap to 4.5 seconds here in this one. So the last lap for Gabriel Payne, who looks set to be looking good to take some hardware home later today, Alex.
Yeah, half a lap to go here through the chicane and into the bowl corner. 4.5 seconds is the advantage between himself and Lucian Laser. There's a good look at Colin Harden. But here's a good look at Gabriel Payne around to the final corner to see the checkered flag and win in 2:06 junior. A dominant performance and a grand slam is complete for the 45 machine. Lucian Laser, a personal best in the final lap, leaving it all out there on the table. The number 8 machine, Lucian Laser, he's in second. Evan Patton, he's going to cross the line to finish in third. And then it's going to be Colin Harden, the number 11 driver. It's going to round out your top 4 in 2:06 junior. But for Gabriel Payne, a dominant performance is complete here in the morning, here in Whiteland, Indiana, for 2:06 junior. That's your results for the final.
Colin, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth roof sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, are you even listening? We need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place, and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Welcome back to Whiteland Raceway Park, round 3 of the Indy Karting Challenge. We just saw 2:06 junior get wrapped up. Now it's time for 2:06 Masters and some feature racing. 9 minutes plus 2 laps for the Masters, guys, and we saw a pretty good race in the heat. It'll be a much tougher race, though. When you add 4 minutes, it's going to be at least 8 laps added, maybe about 9 laps added of racing action for these Masters drivers. So a lot more driving in this one, but if the heat race is anything to go off of, we should be in for a good one. There you see some of the socials there. Whiteland Raceway Park on Facebook, at RaceWRP on Instagram, Whiteland Raceway Park on YouTube, and if you scan that QR code, you can join the Whiteland Raceway Park Discord server. And if you go to racewrp.com, you can get all the information on the Indy Karting Challenge. So follow us on all the socials and don't miss anything. And also, if you aren't already, obviously if you're watching this, you're a KC member, but for $9.99 a month, you can become a KC member and don't miss any of the racing action that we show you all year long. Obviously next week we'll be at the Stars Championship Series over there in Charlotte Motor Speedway, so that'll be a pretty good event there. Caleb and I will be there at the Pro Show, so expect a good one. But I expect a good one here, Caleb. 206 Masters always put on a good show here at Whiteland Raceway Park. The grid is set. They're getting ready to see the green flag. One of the drivers further back is, waiting to see the green. You see some of the drivers with some animated hand signals, but nonetheless, it's all in good spirits here. Slow and steady. Super delayed on the green there just because we want to keep them all safe through turn 1. And the outside got a much better start. The inside lane was caught sleeping, I think, at this point, Caleb. So a good start there for the outside lane. Your pole sitter's down there in 5th.
Yeah, so the pole sitter fell all the way back to 5th here in this one. I think it looks to be the Burrell Art Machine of Galawina, who currently worked his way up the field. We'll figure out for sure whenever they cross the stripe, but more and more drivers cycling through. And I think it is Galawina who's currently at the front of the field here in this one. Geist looks to be slotted all the way back, just outside of the top 5 here. Currently sits 3rd for Geist, who was your pole sitter. Dietz currently sits in 2nd here, so a good drive for him so far. And Tony currently 4th, and Lockhart running at your top 5 here in this one so far, Alex.
Yeah, we saw a move there from Adam Dietz. Couldn't make it stick. So for Galaunia, a lot of his main contenders there of Matt Geist and Troy Tony are further back in the order. So for Galaunia, this is a good chance for him to see if he can pull away early. We saw him, not be able to make a move on Matt Geist throughout that heat race, maybe with a bit of gearing differences. But now that he is the leader, this might make things a little bit different. Now the roles are reversed. So if Matt Geist can get around Adam Dietz there and put himself in the 2nd place, we could see the reverse of what we saw in the heat race when it was Matt Geist leading Galaunia. Now it's Galaunia leading Geist. But for Adam Dietz there, a really good showing for the 66 machine so far, sitting in P2 ahead of Matt Geist there in 3rd. So those two work together. We might see a 3-car, maybe even a 4-car battle with Troy Tony in the mix here in 206 Masters.
Yeah, definitely a lot of karts looking to put themselves here in the mix. So we'll see what it looks like as the race progresses. But for Geist, he was usually the one leading. Galawani, after we thought, it could have been some type of gearing, mishap for him, just maybe a tooth too high. Seems to be figured out here in this one because he's rolling and doing pretty good to keep Dietz and Geist behind here at the moment, Alex.
I always love pointing this out. I love seeing this with drivers. I'm pretty sure, Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks as though Dietz is rocking the leather jacket and jeans combination. So when drivers put that on, they mean business. And yeah, he's definitely wearing some jeans there and a leather jacket. So for Adam Dietz there, it's clearly working out for him there. He's feeling comfortable with the jeans on there. He's going to go straight from that to working on the go-kart. So for Adam Dietz there, the jeans, leather jacket combination, it's working out. It's put him P2 as it stands and on the bumper of the Burrell driver.
And I tell you what, Alex, that's probably the most comfortable combination you could drive in. Jeans and a jacket is probably the most comfortable thing you could drive in. You don't have to take your suit off, you don't have to, do whatever. You just jeans, jacket, and you're really set to go for the whole day. So for Dietz, who's out there on the racetrack currently in 2nd, I've done it before, and honestly, who cares about the fancy suits or the nice suits? Just jeans and jacket. Take it back to the old school style. That's how it should be, really, in 206.
There he goes inside. Couldn't make it stick, but Dietz thought about a move to the inside. Couldn't make it stick, and now Geist is gonna go to the inside of Dietz. So Adam Dietz went from 1st to 2nd, and now back to 3rd. It's a 4-car battle. Look at the lead that they have over 5th place, Michael Schaefer. But the field has all been flipped on its head now. It's Geist up into P2. It's the reverse of what we saw in the heat race, where now it's Galaunia leading Matt Geist there. So let's see. We saw Galaunia struggle to make the pass on Matt Geist. Does Matt Geist struggle to make the move on Galaunia? 5.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. A lot of racing action still left in this one. You see Galaunia going defensive there early into turn number 3. So we have Geist a really good exit here into turn number 4. onto the back straightaway. We saw in the heat race, Galaunia struggle on the straights. It looks like maybe he made a bit of a gear change in this one because the draft is not playing as big of a factor here for Gase, but it's still looking pretty good. Inside, couldn't make it work there. Galaunia later on the brakes there, braver on the brakes out of the bull corner. He's going to hold on to fight for another corner. But for this group of 4, it's anybody's game as it stands. These are some of the, some of the veterans of karting, some of the most experienced drivers in karting here. Our 206 Masters guys. Look at the run for Matt Gase. Inside, side by side. Galaunia is going to hold the outside, and Gase locks it up on the entry to turn number 3. How about it? Adam Deitz back through to P2, and here's a side-by-side further back. It's going to be Tony and Gase. Gase going to steal third back from Tony. Adam Deitz, the jeans and jacket is working. He's back up at a P2. Adam Deitz P2, Gase third, Tony in 4th. Those 3 are working together, and they're right back up to the bumper almost of David Galaunia on the Brawl Art machine. 4 minutes, 2 laps to go here through turns 2 and 3. All over the bumper now is Adam Deitz. So I expect this group behind Galaunia to work together to see if they can make a move stick, because if they battle for second, they know how easy it is, especially in 206 racing, to let the leader get away. So if I'm those drivers in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I'm working together, I'm pushing up to the lead, making it a battle for the lead rather than a battle for P2, and then from there the gloves can come off. But right now, I think the gloves are still on as it stands for these 4 drivers here. 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Deitz on the bumper now. Personal best for Galaunia and Gase as it stands, so the tires continuing to get better for these drivers. Deitz inside. Can he make it stick this time around? He does, but Galaunia around the outside.
Wow.
Oh, that's close, but Deitz is going to hold on here, but Galaunia around the outside. It'll give him the inside for the chicane, and it should give him P1 with a bit of a hit check. Deitz into the grass, slices up wide on Matt Gase. That might move Tony up a spot. No, it didn't. Adam Deitz somehow, some way holds on a P2, but like I mentioned, last thing you want to do is battle for second. And look at the gap now it's given Galaunia. Now I expect with these 2 drivers who aren't going to work together, because Gase is going to go to the inside there of Deitz. So Matt Gase said, you know what, it's my turn to lead this train. He stood a second. All this battling is giving Galaunia a bit of breathing room, but it's already closing.
Yeah, the gap already closing down to Galaunia here in this one. So for the Burrell Art driver, I mean, got himself to the point, and then fighting for second on back really gave him some breathing room, but that's all going to go out of the window as guys, already closing down the gap. We've seen a lot of moves, and then Dietz, I mean, talked about him already for today, and that was a wild move into the bull, and then he was able to slot himself in a line, as now there's a pass for the lead. There goes Geist on the inside of turn number 1. He's able to get the move done and to the point of the field here. So the Burrell Art, side by side, and there goes Dietz as well. So 2 spots lost there in a matter of 2 corners for Galaunia here in this one, Alex.
Yeah, Galaunia there from 1st to 3rd in a matter of half a lap, so now it's Gase up to the point, and then it's going to be Deitz in 2nd. Tony still sitting there patiently in 4th. They have nothing to worry about behind. The next closest driver is 6.7 seconds in the rear in 5th. That's Michael Schaefer. Crossing the line, 1 minute and 20 seconds and 2 laps to go. Tony goes purple last time by, so Troy Tony still feeling pretty racy in this one. Matt Gase, this is the largest lead we've seen from any driver all race long, but for Adam Deitz and Galaunia, they are going to work together and get back up to the leader here. 1 minute to go, plus 2 laps. It should give them 4 to go here in this 206 Masters final. Matt Gase looking good out front. The 2 behind him are going to have to work together if they want a chance at Gase, because Gase has been the fastest driver, I think, undoubtedly, throughout the qualifying and the heat races when you actually give him free racetrack. So now that he has the lead for the first time all race long, let's see what he can do with it.
Yeah, so let's see what they can do. It's still a little bit of battling there for that second spot. I mean, we have seen, I mean, we say it time and time again, right, Alex? 2 karts are always going to be quicker than 1. So, you know, whenever you work together, it seems to work out. But, you know, these guys are going to go 3 wide here down the back straightaway. So all that working together, going out of the window. Oh, wow. Galawania around and into the tire barrier there. And, wow, I was just talking about working together. That's the exact opposite of working together here, Alex, as Galawania finds himself turned backwards there on the back straightaway with 3 laps to go. That's going to end his podium hopes here in this one, as more drivers going to cycle through, and that's Troy Toney, who currently sits in second. So Dietz lost a spot there too, who finds himself in third here at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, Adam Deitz there back up in the third. Galawania falls all the way down into fifth after facing the wrong direction on the back straightaway, but this pretty much just handed the victory to Matt Geist, unless Tony can do anything about it. Here's what happened. Here's the replay. So Galawania held the inside on Deitz. Tony made it 3 wide, and I think it caught Galawania off guard. He turns right to avoid Tony and turns right into Deitz, spun himself around. That's one of those racing incidents when you're going 3 wide on a pretty narrow back straightaway. It is inevitably going to happen. So this pretty much unleashed the shackles on Matt Geist. He has a 1.8 second advantage. Last lap here, they got the white flag last time around. So for the 531 machine, the OTK driver, he has nothing to worry about but his own go-kart and hopes everything stays on here. Through the chicane, onto the pole corner, 3 corners to go for Matt Geist, who's led all, but you know, he's led only 2 laps in this one. It's the 2 that matters. Around the penultimate corner and into the final corner. He's going to see the checkered flag and celebrate victory here in the 206 Masters final. Troy Toney gets a 2nd place finish here. Adam Deitz, a 3rd place result for him. There's your podium. And then it's Michael Schaefer in 4th, ahead of David Galawania, who was spun around 2 laps ago. He was your leader for a majority of this one. He ends in 5th. J.B. Williams, a good drive to finish in 6th. Josh Lockhart, 7th. Eric Patton, 8th. Kevin Simonelik. That's your top 9 in 206 Masters.
A good race from green to checkered here in this one for your 206 Masters. So let's run you through what happened. Galawania got off to a good start so far and was able to take the lead on what looked to be somewhat of a runaway for him. But that was all obviously not how it panned out here in this one, as he was unfortunately spun around there. And then you see more fighting. That's Dietz there fighting with Geist. And they all, you know, try to shuffle and jockey for position as they work together for a little bit to try and get to lead. And then Dietz thought it was time to go to the point, and he did. And then Galawania was able to get the over-under move done and slot himself back up to the point of the field. And then Geist and Dietz going side by side. And this is where you saw that action of Dietz almost, you know, trying to slot himself and find a good spot in line. And then another position change there where Geist was able to go back to the point of the field, and then Galawania lost another spot, and then 3 wide on the back straightaway, and we all know how this ends. Galawania unfortunately gets spun round on the main straightaway. Dietz as well, losing a lot of time with, I think, bumper damage, but you know, it was all, you know, all that fighting really allowed Geist to get away and take away this main event win.
Yeah, chaotic 206 Masters final there. Uncharacteristic what we see from the 206 Masters guys normally, but nonetheless, on the racetrack now, it's the KA100 senior drivers. It's AJ Lund, it's Jackson Dial on your front row, Caleb.
Yeah, AJ Lund and Jackson Deal on the front row for the final race of this AM group. And then we get set to go green again later today for the PM groups. But it all gets set to go green to end off the morning here with Jackson Deal and AJ Lund starting on the front row. It's the MPG Motorsports Kart Republic against the Top Kart Starting on the inside, into the tram lines we go. Green flag is out, and we are racing here in KA Senior. A good start so far by Lund to get himself to the point of the field. Deal, a much better start than what he had. Than what he had last time around, as he looks to go on the inside there of Charlie Steins. He's able to get it done. Steins stuck on the outside, side by side there for a second in between the two of them. Steins gonna have to slot back in the line in third. But let's see what Jackson Deal has in the tank to catch up to AJ Lund, because I mean we've seen AJ Lund be super quick all morning long, Alex, and I'm not expecting him to slow down at all in this one.
Yeah, but if the heat race is anything to go off of, Jackson Dial was arguably quicker than AJ Lund in the latter stage of that heat race. So now that we see, it's kind of a mano-a-mano fight between your top two, as Jackson Dial closing the gap to AJ Lund, leaving Charlie Steins in the dust. Look how much quicker the MPG driver is in the early stages of this race. Obviously still 9 minutes plus 2 laps to go in this one, so anything is possible. But as it stands, the MPG driver looks to be quick here through the penultimate corner, rounding the final corner here. I suspect that Dial went purple this time around here as they crossed the stripe. Jackson Dial does not go purple. It's actually going to be AJ Lund, which I'm surprised about, but Jackson Dial nonetheless second fastest on the racetrack. Thought about a move there into turn number 3. Not going to make it happen there. You see the difference in lines that these two drivers take. AJ Lund, with a wider entry, focuses much more on the overall straightaway speed. Jackson Dial attacks the corner a bit narrower there. He centers the corner off earlier and tries to diamond the corner off more than what AJ Lund's doing. It's working out for Dial in certain sections, not as much in other sections of the racetrack there. Bit of a mistake there for Jackson Dial. Charlie, that's Braden Rudder, looks quick in this one early on as well. So Rudder all over the bumper of Jackson Dial there. So we have a 3-car battle here for the lead in this one here. Or sorry, no, that is still Charlie Steins there up in the third. So yeah, Steins looks quick here. Dial looks quick. It's a 3-car breakaway in KA Senior.
Yeah, so a 3-car breakaway here in KA Senior. Further back in that 4th spot is Lane Gibbs and Austin Fairfield, who's used to be a racer, turned mechanic, and then seems to be turned back racer here this weekend for the MPG Motorsports team. I believe it's a Kart Republic Will Power Kart, what he's driving around here, Whiteland, and good to see that, when mechanics get back in the seat and they race and have a good time here at the club level. I mean, that's pretty cool to see for all these hard-working mechanics around the paddock. I see them get back into the seat and always having a good time and showing their pace. Whenever they tell their driver something, they don't have the driver talk back and be like, I can race too. And some drivers may not absolutely know that. But your battle for the lead continuing to ramp up here. AJ Lund now getting tracked down by Jackson Deal, who just ran a 37.673, 0.2 quicker. And you see it there because for the first time this weekend, Jackson Deal going to go to the point here, and AJ Lund looking to go back, and Charlie Stein still there. And Lund going to have to push Deal through because Steins looked to make the move done. Just wasn't close enough that time by, and going defensive here once again. There goes Jackson Deal trying to hold off the likes of AJ Lund and Charlie Steins here in their top carts, who are going to challenge Deal for this race win. But for the first time this weekend, the MPG Motorsports driver leads us away here on what was a good move in turn number 3.
Yeah, good move there for Jackson Dial. The first time all weekend long, or all day long, should I say, that he has the lead here in the KA Senior class. And now AJ Lund, the first time he's seen a go-kart in front of him all day long. So for the top kart drivers of Lund and Steins, we can expect them to work together. I don't think Steins is going to even think about a move on his teammate there. He'll be thinking about pushing him back up to the front and getting around the MPG driver as soon as possible here. 5.5 minutes plus 2 laps. A lot of racing action still left here, but for Jackson Dial, what can he do now as the pace setter in this one? Last time around, Lane Gibbs got around Braden Rudder. Fairfield put together a personal best there, down in 6th. So for Charlie Steins there, if you look at our timing and scoring, he's not showing up. So from 3rd on back, move those drivers 1 down and put Charlie Steins in the 3rd for those watching at home. But it's still Dial ahead of Lund ahead of Charlie Steins. Bit of a mistake there for Lund out of the penultimate corner there. Lost ground to Jackson Dial, and now his teammate is all over the bumper of AJ Lund. Like I said, I really would be shocked if I saw a move from Steins on his teammate there. I think this is going to be basically a 2 versus 1 if you're Jackson Dial with 4.5 to go.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes left in this one. And I tell you what, I mean, Jackson Deal's pulling away here from the 2 top carts. I mean, the lap times are looking pretty good. Deal was a tenth slower last time by, but I mean, this lap seems to be pretty good because he's opening up that gap to Lund behind and Charlie Steins as well, who's not showing up on our timing, obviously, but Charlie Steins very much in that 3rd spot. So, I mean, he's opening up that gap a little bit. Jackson Deal, a 37.616, went purple the last time around. So, I mean, like you said, Alex, like, we're barely on what would have been heat racing time, completion. But now, I mean, you add 4 minutes to that, like, that's a whole different ball game, a whole different setup, whole different tire pressure setup, to be driving around for that long. And keeping, the cart under you is really important. And Jackson Deal has done exactly that, right? I mean, we saw, glimpses of pace from him at the end of the pre-final, towards the end. And now, I mean, he's showing us that pace here all in this final, but got slowed down a little bit there as AJ Lund was looking for the move, just wasn't close enough that time by.
Yeah, AJ Lund puts a personal best last time around. Almost went purple, so that cart is coming back to him. Ooh, little mistake there for Lund. Dropped the tire in the grass. You saw it on the brakes there. Had no grip on the right side tires there, and that cost him all the ground that he made up. It's going to take him about 2 or 3 laps just to get back up to the bumper now of Jackson Dial. So that's given the MPG driver a bit of breathing room here with 3 minutes to go plus 2 laps in this KA Senior Final, the last final of the morning slate before we go kick-out racing, and then the second round of heat and finals for the afternoon slate. 6 more classes that we'll be doing later on in the afternoon. But for Jackson Dial, he still leads. AJ Lund has his teammate all over him. It's top cart 2 and 3. That's Lane Gibbs, Braden Rutter, Austin Fairfield, Nick Lundgren, Blake Finley, Brennan McIntosh, Casey Perry, Joshua Nelson. That's your field in the KA Senior KA Masters category there. For Jackson Dial, still leads. And we mentioned it earlier, right? His advantage seemingly, if not growing, at least maintaining what he needs to do here. 2 minutes plus 2 laps, about 5 laps to go here around Whiteland Raceway Park for round 3 of the Indy Kart Challenge. He's doing everything he needs to do as it stands. It's going to take a late race charge here from AJ Lund, and a little bit of a mistake like we saw there from Jackson Dial, sideways out of the penultimate corner. Not what you want to see. Kind of gives a bit of a sign that his tires are fading, and you can see the gap start to close as AJ Lund is about a 10th quicker than Jackson Dial last time around. Looks to be even closer this time around, Caleb. So a minute and a half plus 2 laps to go. It's not over yet for AJ Lund.
Yeah, not over yet for AJ Lund here in this one, who seems to have found new life here in the closing stage of this race. Just has to keep it consistent here if he wants to get to the rear bumper of that Kart Republic that's ahead of him. So there's some work to do here for AJ Lund if he wants to get there, but it's definitely doable in the time given, right? A minute plus 2 laps. So technically 4 laps to go left in this race for AJ Lund to try and get to that rear bumper of Jackson Deal here in this one. So, not too far off as a back marker currently stuck in the bull. Gonna have to. Oh, wow, that was really close, really close. And Jackson Deal had to take evasive action there, and I think, wow, oh my. So we have one driver who's I believe got involved in that. So unfortunately, wow, I think hit that outside wall, and that entire barrier just came down.
So I think the 21 of Joshua Nelson was slowed on the bowl because the wall was blocking the racetrack. And so I think the leaders didn't realize that. This is my guess. But let's hope there's a red flag out. obviously, for the driver on the ground there. Let's hope that he is okay, because that wall has been moved about 15 feet down the racetrack, so it has been absolutely slammed by one of the drivers there. Let's try to get a number or go-kart as if possible, but let's hope that driver's okay. It looked like he was moving around, but nonetheless, not what you want to see here in the KA Senior Final, Caleb.
Yeah, very, very definitely, I guess, scary there, seeing that entire barrier wall just come down onto the racetrack. It was about to be 3 laps to go, so with the red flag coming out, we are more than halfway through this race. So I think that's going to be all she wrote for this KA Senior Final. And if that's so, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to guess here. But if that is so, then that should give the win to Jackson Deal here in this one. But I mean, you see that entire barrier wall just completely down on the racetrack. A driver, like you said, Alex, just probably made contact there with the outside wall, and then the entire wall just kind of came down. Everybody's up and moving, so it looks like everybody's okay. The barriers at the moment are not. So we're going to give some time to our hardworking track staff and Whiteland Raceway park staff to get that fixed up, and then we'll be right back with more racing action coming your way. If that is it for this K Senior K Masters Final, because we were more than halfway through, then it will give the win to Jackson Deal, and AJ Lund going to have to sit in that second spot. But let's take a look at the replay here. This is one of the cameras that we have further back, and I think one driver just spun around, hit the wall, and then
his tire
came off, crashing down. His
left rear tire came off. You can see it. Left rear tire comes off through the right rear tire comes off.
Wow.
Loaded. That is a scary, scary incident for that driver.
Wow.
While the right tire is loaded, and there you see the 21 driver of Joshua Nelson. This is where we caught it, where he was slowed down.
I just realized this. So these drivers had no clue that the barrier. Wow! I literally just realized this. That's why he was slowing down, and then Deal and company come through, and wow, insane scenes here in this one. That's definitely probably one of the craziest things I think I've ever seen in my time in karting, seeing a whole barrier wall come down. But hey, that corner, that bull corner, and here at Whiteland, I mean, it's something else. I tell you what, I haven't had the pleasure or the fortune to drive it yet, and I can't wait until that day comes. But man, that's I guess it happens, right, Alex?
Yeah, that is a wild incident there. We saw another driver here, one of the PG drivers, I think, lose it in turn number 1 or turn number 2 here as well.
Oh, there was contact on the main straightaway there.
Yeah, contact on the main straightaway. One driver went around during the same time as the other incident. So carnage unfolding here with about 30 seconds left in this feature race. Like you said, it should be race done, but maybe not, because there still was time left on the board, but it was past halfway. So we'll see what they decide to do with this one. But as it stands, it was Jackson Dial ahead of Lund, ahead of Charlie Steins. While they continue to repair the barrier and make sure the driver's okay, we're going to go quiet here, and when we come back, we will potentially go underway for the rest of K Senior. If not, it will be kit kart racing after this.
So we just got word that that will be the end of that race. So Jackson Deal will be your winner, but that is going to end that KA Senior race there. We just got confirmation. That's going to be it for your KA Seniors. So Jackson Deal will be the winner of that one. We were more than halfway through when the red flag came out. So that is going to be the end of that race. When we come back, though, it's going to be kit kart racing here live on Kart Chaser.
Colin, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth roof sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as like tomorrow. Dude, are you even listening? Like, we need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the Kart on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
We're at a commercial break.